Did you ever get tired of hearing people say, man, you dressing like an auntie, you dressing all them women clothes, them tight clothes?
Bring your girl around me.
If you know a female is toxic and still you know she toxic, she ain't gonna be toxic with no Cam though.
Shit, that pussy Fido. Shit. You know what I'm
Come on, Cam. We still away from red flags though, Cam.
That's cool, but some red flags equate to Six Flags. And boy, oh boy, is it a fun ride?
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, and today is a special edition because we're on the road. And the man we're on the road with today, he's the only player to win the Heisman, the BCS National Championship, NFL Rookie of the Year, and be selected number one in the NFL draft the same season. He's an NFL MVP. He's an SEC and NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He's a first-team All-Pro, earned 3 Pro Bowls, AP College Player of the Year, consensus All-American, first-team All-SEC quarterback. He won back-to-back national championships, one in junior college, the other in the NCAA. He also has the most rushing touchdown by NFL quarterback, Carolina Panther, Auburn, Atlanta great. Some call him Superman. I call him my nephew, Cam Newton. How was that intro?
It was all right.
All right, what I leave out? Tell me what I leave out.
It was all right.
Entrepreneur, father.
It's all right. All right. Dad. Yeah. Great father.
Great father. Great business here. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
Letting Club Shay Shay come into fellowship.
You did. Anytime. You welcome anytime.
Welcome. Look here. I know you on an espresso.
That's bad luck.
What's bad?
Mixing spirits with unspirited drink. That's bad luck.
That's bad luck? Okay, we're here. You got water?
I think, yep. Boom, there you go. Yeah. Now let's go viral.
Yeah, but is there good luck?
You dig what I'm saying?
So,
let's rock and roll.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm magnificent. Any better, I'll be a twin. See what I'm saying?
Listen, we're here at your place fellowship, and I think it's one of the, I haven't been to a whole lot of cigar spots, but the ones I have, yours second to none.
Yes, sir.
When you came up with the idea for fellowship, what were you thinking and what were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, I travel a lot, and smoking cigars is a part of my daily routine. And for me, I just wanted to create something that embodies everything that I like. Socializing, networking, being comfortable, as well as eating great food and
amazing.
And smoking.
Right.
Cigars. So, you combine all those things together and that's what you get out of fellowship.
Was this your first entry into being an entrepreneur?
Indirectly. Or directly, yes. Indirectly, no. I think the first one was realizing at the age of 20, I'm the man of my bloodline.
Okay.
And I say that humbly, being that I got so much high regard to my father. But making those type of decisions really put a lot of things into perspective.
Okay. Let's get right into it. You went viral earlier when you said game managers versus game changers. Can you clarify what did you mean? Because I think I know what you mean, but I want to hear it from you. What did you mean when you said there are certain guys, and you can list the guys if you like, that are game managers, and there are certain guys that are game changers because they're asked to do different things?
Correct. Well, in the game of football today, there's only really 5 game changers at the quarterback position.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow.
Okay.
And that's not a title that's just handed out to anybody. Now, this is the biggest misconception. Being a game manager is not a backhanded compliment. It's something that your team does not require you to win the game all the time. Those game changers, they're asked to win the game every single day. Right? And that's just what I meant. And when I went more into detail about it, I think it really became apparent that I'm like, yo, hold on. And I know we're talking about Brock Purdy here, and I have no quarrels or no issue with him. I think his rise to who he is the perfect definition of the American dream.
Right.
Hardworking, get it out the mud, earn every single thing that you get, and he's done right by the opportunity that he was presented with.
Right.
And for me, I never wanted to kind of come off because I know what it's like to prepare as an NFL player. I think too many times it was assumed or painted as if I was bitter, as if I was a hater, or I was just calling it how I see it. When I think about game changers, there's top 2 on their team, top 3, top 5. And when I, explained it even more, I was looking at the roster of the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm saying to myself, well, they loaded.
Right.
But he didn't ask for that situation. Right. You know what I'm saying? I played with Christian McCaffrey. I know how dynamic he is. I've always been a fan of Deebo Samuels. I've played against Fred Warner. I know the amount of preparation it is. George Kittle, those guys. And, that team is stacked. Trent Williams, those guys, have the ingredients to be or to become a dynasty.
Right.
And I never wanted to kind of jade that from, his hard work and preparation.
I think sometimes, Cam, I remember when I first got into the league, people would critique us and they's like, well, you never played the game. Mm-hmm. And if you did play the game, were you any good? Yeah. Now you have players that played the game at a high level, right, that were very good, and they're not allowed to critique. Mm-hmm. So are you beyond reproach? Are you not allowed to be critiqued, regardless whether you're a game changer or a game manager? Right. So where are we going with this, Cam?
I think we're living in a day and age where people aren't critiquing the take. They're critiquing the person who gave the take.
Oh, okay.
So I said...
They mad at the messenger.
Yeah. I said game manager, and people were saying you didn't jump on the fumble. You didn't perform, or he's better than you, or you're a bust, or you're doing that. And I'm saying to myself, it's like, that's not talking about what I said.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we're getting distracted by who's delivering the message, not the message itself.
Right. Wow. That's... It's funny that you say that. You list Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Those are and Joe Burrow. Those are your game changers.
Yes, sir.
Those are the guys that you go into the game and there's a level of expectation week in and week out.
Yes, sir.
We're going to win this game.
Correct.
Game managers, you're like, okay, if this goes well, if this guy plays well, this guy plays well, if the defense does, we have a chance to win.
No, it's simple. With those 5 guys that I listed, you're telling them, or the unspoken word is, go win us the game.
Okay.
Game managers, in some regard, is you're basically telling them, don't lose the game.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Those, like, don't put the ball in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
Protect the football. Just give guys chances to make plays on your behalf,
right,
or our behalf,
right,
and we'll win the game.
Right. You do realize, like, when you say certain things like this, and this is, I remember when you had the comment, and your dad called me, mm-hmm, when you said, I think, what was the term you used? What was the term that you used? Randoms. And I'm thinking to myself, does he understand, like, if he goes into one of these locker rooms,
yeah,
and these guys that he called random, how uncomfortable that's going to be? Did you think about it in that terms?
Shannon, I'll tell you this, or Uncle Shay. My sole purpose while using my platform is to expose the truth.
Okay.
However it comes out, it may be aggressive, it may be, a little slang sometimes, but it's the truth.
Right.
And I don't bite my vernacular just because of the setting that I'm in.
Right.
You could put me in the locker room, you could put me in a barbershop, you could put me in in a podium, you could put me in front of ESPN, Fox, CNN, it doesn't matter.
Right.
My vernacular would not change.
Right.
And randoms were guys who I felt, still do feel, that they've been given opportunities that guys of my stature never gotten. And that's just the truth.
I think that's going to make for some very uncomfortable, tough conversations, Cam.
So be it. This is when I realized that I'm not for everybody.
Right.
That's when I started living in my true self.
But as a quarterback, you have to be for everybody. You know you the face of it because you got to be good with D-line, the O-line, the wide receivers, the running backs, the DB. You actually are the CEO of the company.
Yes, sir.
And you understand a lot of people are going to take their cue from you.
Of course. And I'm good with all of them. Anybody, you do the research. You probably already have. People who are watching this, let them do their research. Find a teammate that said Cam Newton was an amazing teammate.
You call me random, you come in there, Cam, we're going to have a conversation.
Well, that's just competition. It's just competition. Anytime that I ever wanted to insert myself, let's compete.
Right.
That's a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. I'm competing with you right now.
Right.
Club Shay Shay versus Funky Friday.
Right.
Nightcap versus 4th and 1. Mm-hmm. It don't necessarily matter. It's a healthy competition there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we have to normalize that. We're seeing it in music right now. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Mm-hmm. Healthy competition. Now, don't get distracted by the words. Understand the message and where it's coming from, right. The purpose of the words. Right. So I see guys have opportunities to be backups. That didn't come by way of me. I understand who I am. And you want me to minimize myself? You want me to dim my light so somebody else can?
Well, you have to dim your light to be a backup.
I told you who I would back up, but that still wasn't good enough. So now it's this whole emancipation of who the black person's supposed to be, especially a black quarterback. You want me to shrink or minimize myself?
No, Cam. You have a wife and kids. You have a wife and you got 3 kids. Mm-hmm. You're without a job. Mm-hmm. You say, well, I'm only going to do this, this, and this. I don't know if you're in the position to say that if you're trying to feed said family and keep a roof over their head.
Eli did it.
Eli
Manning.
That's in the beginning. You could have probably pulled that card in the beginning when you had the power.
That's cool. You can't say different rules for different people.
Yeah, I don't think it's a different set of rules because we're going to talk about this later with Time saying, look, I want Shador to go here, there. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. Although I didn't really particularly like when Eli did it. But I'm saying when you have the power, Superman, Clark Kent ain't got no power.
Yes, sir.
Superman had the power. Correct. The guy that did this, the guy that was 15-1,
yes, sir,
could have called that shot.
But this is what I'm telling you is this. That person who you're talking about, I'm a very confident person that oftentimes get misinterpreted as cocky. Mm-hmm. Who does Cam think he is to sit up here?
You told him.
This is me telling you I've admitted to putting myself in some fucked up situations.
Okay.
And I don't want to put myself in no more bad situations. Right. So if you give me an off season to learn a playbook properly,
right.
If you give me a time to really understand the play caller's purpose, now I can interpret what he's trying to do and also give my insight too. Those are situations that I didn't necessarily have. I was learning in New England. Right. I was learning, and I said this not time and time again, I was learning a 20-year system and trying to cram that throughout the year, as well as I was signed a month before we played football.
Right.
I go to Carolina. I was trying to learn on the go. And on top of that, you fire the OC 2 weeks into an already bad situation.
Right.
Now I had to learn something again.
Right.
Now in the off season, I'm telling you like, yo, these are what I would want to do. This is me representing myself.
Right.
And if I can't represent myself and speak as honest as I know how, I don't want to put myself in no bad situations because my production was being impacted by bad situations. But when I say that, it's me saying, who does he think? No, it's not that. It's just the truth, and I'm speaking my truth.
But the thing is, Cam, the people that you mentioned, the likelihood you weren't gonna get a chance to play.
Hello? I knew they wasn't gonna come and get me. I knew my phone wasn't gonna ring, but I still had to tell the people what I wanted. And that's the power of media right now.
Right.
We don't have to wait for a publishing in a newspaper or a magazine. I can go direct to the source.
Right.
Either with X, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram.
You got your own platform.
I got my own platform. I'm gonna tell you what I want.
Right.
And it's for you to sift through and say, okay, that juice is worth the squeeze.
Right.
And if not, then it is what it is.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. That's the thing that people don't understand. I was ready to walk away from the NFL when Carolina released me the first time. So me being in this position right now, it don't make me uncomfortable. Look where we at. This place ain't cheap. This place paid me very well.
Why didn't you said you was ready to walk away and you was dealing with some injuries in Carolina. Why didn't you take that off season to get fully healthy and then come back?
That's the gift and the curse. Because the opportunity presented itself as a competitor, as a lion. When the opportunity presents itself, you say to yourself, I could do it. I could do it. I don't need that much time. I'm me. And it ended up, I bet it on myself. And it didn't work out right. And I don't have nobody else to blame but me. Even though I'm saying to myself, those are bad situations, I knew those situations as it was arising, still having full confidence in myself to say, I can do this.
Yeah, but see, Cam, in the words of the great Clint Eastwood, he said, every man got to know his limitations. It's like if you know a female is toxic and still you know she toxic. She ain't gonna be toxic with no Cam, though.
Shit, that pussy Fido. Shit. I tell you, toxicity in any
no, Cam, no.
Toxicity now. No. Come on, like, we gonna keep it the buck now. You know what I'm
Come on, Cam.
You tell me.
We still wait for red flags, though, Cam.
That's cool, but some red flags equate to Six Flags. And boy, oh boy, is it a fun ride?
The ride make you sick.
At the end of the day, you still gotta taste the, you know what I'm saying, the appetizer or the sample just to see if that's something that you want to partake in.
Cam, damn.
Come on now. I may be too real. Come to step now, you know what I mean? Cat Williams, you feel me? Your folks need to know how real, you know what I'm saying, it can get. But at the end of the day, I know who I am.
Right.
And I know that may turn a lot of people off. But that ain't my kind.
Right.
And I'm extremely respectful to everybody. I respect everybody.
Right.
And when that time comes for me to express myself, I don't want to be minimized. I have children. I have sons. I have daughters. And I raised them to be able to look every man and every woman in their eye and speak your mind. And there's a right and wrong way to articulate yourself. Right. And I've never crossed that boundary by disrespecting somebody by expressing myself.
Are you done with football?
I think the question is football done with me? Because if you give me ample time or you give me a situation that makes sense to me, I have to take it.
Are you training to go back to play football?
Man, I'm ready right now. That's what people don't understand. I still work out. It's like riding a bike. I've been playing this game since I was 7 years old.
Housewives work out. Athletes train.
Yes, sir.
Are you training?
Don't let the cigar fool you. I was smoking cigars like after 2 a day, 3 a day. It don't matter. Okay. Don't let this fool you now.
How about this? Getting in is the easy part. It's knowing when to get out that's hard.
Listen, put it like this. I'm not begging nobody to go back.
Right.
If the opportunity presents itself where somebody feels the need that Cam Newton can help our franchise, I'll be ready.
Have you or any of your representation reached out to any of the 32 teams?
Yes.
And what's the feedback? What's been said?
Oh man, well, we're exploring options right now. And that professional talk.
Right.
All to say,
we're not interested.
Yes, sir. And that's fine. That's cool. They have to do what's right for them, and I have to do what's right for me. And a part of that is telling the people what's right for me.
Right.
So you can't sit up here and say Cam ain't willing to be a backup. I told y'all I'll be a backup. These are the people who I would back up. And that still wasn't good enough. So what is it now? And I already knew that going into it, because it's not necessarily what's being said, it's the source of who's saying it.
Right.
Oh man, bringing the Cam Newton into the franchise, what does that say to the starter? Am I supposed to apologize for the aura that I bring? That's me. That's what made my roar loud. Mm-hmm. I put a lot on my plate. That's how my father raised me.
Right.
And man, look, my father is obviously the most influential male in my life. And he is as holy as holy. Mm-hmm. But when my dad when I talk to him like this, like, Pop, you ain't raised no bitch now. This not him as my pastor. This is me talking to him as a man.
Right.
You ain't raised no bitch. So I got to do what's right for me and my family and us.
Right.
And I'm not going to let nobody play with me. So that could be intimidating to a franchise. Right. Because they think that, we can't control this motherfucker. No, you've never had no problems from Cam Newton. You've never seen Cam Newton on a DUI. You've never seen Cam Newton have conduct detrimental to the team. You've never seen Cam Newton oust the organization. Knowing that this wasn't my fault, I still take the blame. That's what quarterbacks are supposed to do.
Right.
I've been a upright, honorable citizen in the eyes of the media. And now when I have my way of expressing myself, who do you think you are? I'm Cam Newton. Simple and plain.
If I gave you a choice, the last drive, you got 2 minutes on the clock and you got to go 80 yards to get a touchdown. I'm going to give you Tom Brady, I'm going to give you Patrick Mahomes. Both in their prime. Who you taking?
Brady.
Why?
It's Brady. Not to minimize Patrick. I remember playing, I never played Patrick Mahomes. The time I was supposed to play him, I had COVID.
Okay.
I remember playing Tom Brady in New England. I think it was 2017, 2018. And the impact that he had, it was like the game is never over. Mm-hmm. As a quarterback, you never want to get distracted by the opposing offense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think I know Patrick Mahomes has that. It's like when you score, it's like, damn, we left too much time.
Right.
Well, with Brady, the whole crowd, they were down, I think about 2 scores. The whole crowd, Brady, Brady, Brady. That type of impact, I don't think the game will ever see that in respect to who he was. Right. And he's proven time and time again with elite supporting cast and questionable supporting cast. Right. Brady has always got it done. And I wouldn't say it just was Brady. It was Coach Belichick. It was Josh McDaniels. It was that whole organization. Brady was just the person that got a lot of credit. But if I were that situation, I'm going with Tom Brady every single day.
Do you feel like when you're playing against a Brady or you playing against a Mahomes now that you're actually competing against them? And I know, I'm not on the field against Tom Brady. I'm not on the field against Patrick Mahomes, but you know what they're going to do.
For sure.
And you got to match it.
Yes, sir. I mean, as an athlete in that game or a player in that game, those are all things that you think in the back of your head. 4-minute offense is paramount. Is of great desire that we got to get first downs. We got to keep them off the field. Mm-hmm. And as we're playing, these are the things that completions, keeping the clock rolling. Mm-hmm. protecting the football, whether in the pocket, outside the pocket, guys,
stay in bounds.
It's a lot. It's almost like the Jordan effect, the LeBron effect, the Steph effect. These are great players now. And when you're playing against them, you'll be lying if you didn't feel that impact to say, you already know who you're looking across from.
I think you're 2-0 against Brady. Does it feel?
What you say now? I didn't hear you. It was a.
I think you're 2-0 against Brady. I think you beat him in Carolina and you beat him in New England.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel different, like beating a Brady or beating one of these top, or Rodgers or beating one of these top tier quarterbacks? Do you feel different when you beat one of those guys?
Only person I wish I would have beat was Peyton.
You only paid.
I'm 0-2 versus Peyton. Obviously, one in the regular season when he had that crazy year with 55 touchdowns, and then obviously in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But other than that, I held my own.
Right. If I give you a choice, you got to start a friend. You Cam Newton is the general manager, and you get Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, or Brock Purdy to start your franchise with. Who you picking?
Joe Shiesty. Smoking Joe. Motherfucker cool. I seen him at a Super Bowl party and I was like, yo, like this dude, I could see what guys gravitate. Man, listen, he got that it factor.
Okay.
And a lot of times, especially as you cover sports or you talk about it or critique sports, you don't really know these people. You don't have real interactions with them. I met Joe, cool guy, and his aura was just like, just a cool ass dude. You know what I'm saying? Not taking anything away from Jalen, not taking anything from Brock, not taking anything from any other person, Justin Herbert that you spoke of. But I need guys that's gonna lead our franchise. It's easy to say when things are going good, but are you gonna give the confidence in that locker room when things going bad?
Right.
And that's what I look at from my seat.
Who do you think wins the Super Bowl first? Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts.
Lamar.
What happened this year? Because it seemed like everything was perfect. They had home field throughout. They were clearly, from about week 9 on, the best team in the NFL, and it wasn't close. You look at the team that they beat Miami by God knows how much. They did a demolition job on the 49ers. They blew the doors off Seattle. All the teams that made the playoffs or that was playoff potentials, they just didn't skate by them. They ramshackled them. And then this moment, AFC Championship game on your home field, and everybody knows Lamar Jackson is going to be the MVP.
Right.
The only question is it going to be unanimous again?
Yeah. I think one thing that Lamar and the Ravens organization just has to figure out is how to win the ugly games. It's one of them situations like sometimes when I look at Lamar, it's like, bro, you just stop thinking. And it's easy for a guy with that much talent to think, it's so many, like as a chef, you can prepare this meal in so many different ways, but everybody know your signature is smoked. Man, smoke this motherfucker and get on about your day. You got to win. Find a way to win the ugly games.
Right.
And we can talk about the other stuff later. Patrick Mahomes has found a way to do that.
Right.
I don't care what we need to do, or we could talk about all this other, them drop balls, we can worry about all that shit after the end of the game. Let's find a way to win. Travis Kelce, man, we're gonna find a way to fucking win. And I think for Lamar, once he figures that out, not to say that he hasn't, but everybody around, because it's just not Lamar.
Right.
It's everybody finding a way to win. That's what made Tom Brady and the New England Patriots so dynamic. Because it could be, we're going to find a way to win. Remember that Super Bowl in Atlanta? That was the ugliest Super Bowl ever.
Yes.
The Patriots versus the Rams. Low scoring, we thought it was going to be a fire. Up
and down. 35-31.
Man, it was
13-3.
Low scoring game. We got to find a way to win. And once he figures that out, the organization figures that out.
It's funny that you say that because Brady mastered that, and you mentioned Patrick Mahomes, because you look at the Super Bowl against Philly, he threw for 180 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But every yard mattered.
Correct.
He didn't have he ended up going overtime, and I think he might have had close to 300.
Mm-hmm.
But you say that is like finding ways to win that people don't think you can, because everybody thinks that he's supposed to throw for 300-400 yards, and that's the only way they can win.
Right.
But sometimes he turned into a game manager, because Tom Brady was the greatest game manager and the greatest because he understood, man, this is going to be a low-scoring game, man. I can't put this ball in harm's way.
Right.
I can't fumble. I can't make mistakes.
Or knowing how to compartmentalize the different versions of yourself. And that's what makes you a game changer. Because it may say, hey, easy. Hey, check. Hey, Bronco. Hey, 52's the mic. That's checking into a run play.
Right.
It's too high. I know what it is. I want to take this shot. We're calling 2 plays.
Right.
This second and short or 3rd and 1. We're going to be aggressive. Okay, hey, easy. Hey, I got to get us out this play. First down, 1 yard gain. Cool, that's fine. I need to understand what version of myself that I need to go into my deck of cards and say, okay, boom, I'm going to throw that little 10 of spade out. It's going to walk, though. Right. You dig what I'm saying?
Right. So each game, a quarterback, Cam Newton has to go in there. I have to be the best version today of what is needed of me today. I might not need to be Superman today.
Put a microscope to it and even this play.
Okay.
Not today. Because in a given game, you may have anywhere from 45 plays to 62 plays. That's just been documented, what a regular game for an offense may look like. Those plays, each play will never look the same. So you have to sit up here and say, oh, I got one right here. Hey, easy, we good. Set wide 80, easy. No, we good. And you taking your shot. That same thing may come out the next play. You want to take another shot. Oh, no. Hey, kill that. These are what the outside pundits don't realize. It's a chess match. And too many times, people forget that. In football, you just think it's 11 on 11. It's about splitting that number down the middle and finding your one-on-one.
Right.
And the great ones do it, and you see what makes them great.
The Cowboys are in a very precarious situation because they find themselves in a very similar situation to where they were 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott going into the final year of his contract.
Yeah.
That time they franchised him, made the play on a franchise tag, thought about franchising again to give him a long-term deal. So here we are again. What is it that Dak needs to do? What is it that Dak hasn't done to convince the Cowboys? Because clearly they're not convinced. Because Jerry said it after. We're only going to go as far as Dak carry us. And this was as far as he could carry us. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing from Dak? What's going on with Dak? What's going on with the Cowboys offense that in big games, he doesn't play his best?
This message is to Dak Prescott. We looking for that motherfucking dog. And I don't think Jerry Jones will allow him to become that. Because you got to be politically correct. You got to be almost the president of football, almost, to be the signal caller for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. What Dallas Cowboys need at that quarterback position is somebody to say, nah, fuck that. This is my shit. This is what we gonna do. I hear all that. But we trying to win. We trying to win, yes or no? Okay, cool. Now unleash me and let me win this football game. That type of aura, I don't think Dak can be that.
No, because Jerry wants to win his way.
You see what I'm saying? So those are going to be very combative forces that I don't know if they can get to that next level.
I know a guy that played quarterback that didn't win nearly as much. Dak probably has won more playoff games than him, and he never had to worry about a contract. The guy that Dak
come on now
came after. That's what I'm saying. I mean, am I missing?
For the people, we keeping it a buck now. Who are you talking about? So the people will know.
All I know is Tony Romo was made the highest paid quarterback in football with no Super Bowls, no NFC Championship games, no first team All-Pro, no second team All-Pros. He ain't never had to worry about a contract.
And when he's done playing, he gets a deal that nobody else gets. So what are we really talking about? So you want Cam Newton to shut up and sit back when I'm telling y'all that there's different rules for different people.
Yes.
When I can sit up here and say, hold on, easy, there's a slant coming. Hey, watch the pressure. Hey, watch this and watch that. As an athletic quarterback, you don't get enough credit. You think Lamar Jackson has been as successful as he is by him not understanding the football game and how people are going to try to play him? Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, these athletic quarterbacks. Come on now.
You said like, okay, Romo got what he got when he played, and then he goes out and he becomes color of CBS, gets this long-term deal.
The prime time game. He ain't.
Oh, yeah, he's number one. He's number one.
I take another guy who I have a whole bunch of respect for and call me biased. Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen didn't get that deal. So it can't be no black and white thing. It's just like, yo, how? Why? How did he get that?
Right. You want to call games?
Man, I want the money. I'll figure everything else out. Shit, I asked you a question about, damn, what made you get into Le Portier?
Yeah.
It's a good shit. You realize that you could become a billionaire. Shit, we'll figure all the other rest of the stuff out later. I ain't no different. Cam, do you want to call game? Nope. Shit, we're going to give you $30 million a year. Shit.
No, but you can't go, Cam, you can't go in there and say, no, you got, yes, I would love to call games.
Well, yeah, I love to call games. What that contract look like? We're going to give you $750,000. Yeah, all right, I'm good where I'm at.
I mean, it all depends on where you calling. You calling you the number one slot or the number two slot. Number one slot, is here.
Man, you got to know who you are. You see what I'm saying? You take certain people from certain situations, and that situation ain't the same. My point, period. Undisputed ain't been the same since Shannon Sharpe moonwalked up out of there. Shannon Sharpe gonna be straight.
Yeah.
Now, Skip, why them ratings ain't what they are now? Oh, it's because of you. No. You got to figure out, you got to know who you are, bro.
You do, Cam, but I think the thing is that we are not going to get allowed to start at the top. You start in the mail room, and then you're going to start carrying the mail, and then you're going to work your way up before you get to the penthouse. You're not going to the penthouse. You have to understand that. And see, you can be good at any game if you understand the rules and how to play the game.
I understand that, and I'm exposing that. So you do me a favor.
Okay.
You go back to the introduction.
Yeah.
And you give that resume.
Yeah.
And you put that on Dan Orlovsky and see if he don't become
get the number one slot up.
Hello. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understand what the rules are.
Yes.
I'm just here to expose it. Like your constituent Cat Williams said, I'm just here to collect information. And I'm just here to report it. Don't get mad that I'm reporting what I've obviously seen was to be true.
And what everybody else knows, they just don't say it.
Correct. So you gonna make me the bad guy because I'm reporting the truth? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not in the position. I don't need you. You don't need me. But people need the truth.
You had a very interesting take on Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. You're like, I want to know who his agent is.
For sure.
Because I want to know how a man that's won one playoff game, been a game manager his entire career, and get guaranteed $331 million, 35. He's coming off season-ending Achilles surgery at his age. The Falcons just gave him $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, $50 million at the time of signing.
It ain't even, that's egregious. And I love the fact that he's able to get that money. But what the Falcons paid Kirk Cousins, they could have got Cam Newton, Justin Fields, and Michael Vick for that price.
You do realize they could have gave up 2 first-rounders and got Lamar Jackson for.
But we're not talking about that. See, this is the thing about sports that we don't do a better job with holding people to the fire.
Okay.
You're a judge, and you'll critique Dak Prescott. You'll critique Cam Newton. You'll critique Lamar Jackson. You'll critique Patrick Mahomes. But who's to say for the ownership, the management, and all these decision makers by tricking off these key decisions? But they want you to just shut up and play.
Right.
I'm sitting up at when are we going to admit that these coaches really don't know what they're doing? These managers don't know what they're doing. These owners really don't know what they're doing. Or they're making bad situations, and the franchise is suffering from that. It's not just that y'all don't have good players.
Well, and see, here's the thing. If you and I make a bad decision, let's just say we make a bad investment, we can't recoup that. They make a bad investment, the TV contract gonna pay them $300, $400 million. So what have they actually lost? You see how you overcome a bad investment? If you make a bad, let's just say you go out there and buy a piece of property for $50 million. You're like, damn, I'm out of this $50 million. But you say, you know what? I got $100 million coming in. Ain't no skin off my back.
Nothing.
See, that's how they look at it. And see, I look at Atlanta, I think they were looking for the next Matt Ryan. Because the most successful quarterback in their history, I guess as far as wins and getting to the Super Bowl, you look at Matt Ryan. Cousins is basically a carbon copy of it.
Matt Ryan had Tony Gonzalez, arguably, or he's top 3. You know.
Yeah. He had Roddy White, he had Julio, he had some weapons. But they say, look here, we got Bijan.
You had a defense.
Yeah.
You had Julio. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Shit.
But they say we got Bijan Robinson, we got Drake London, we got Kyle Pitts. I think they signed Mooney from Chicago. So there's like, we just need somebody to get them the ball.
That's cool. But I'm telling you, with that 180 that you gave that guy, you could have had, if not more, talent at that position, and you was gonna sell out.
Right.
I'm here, man. We are across the street from Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes.
People after games for the 4 years that fellowship has been open has been in saying the same argument. When you go in that stadium, sometimes it's not max the capacity. I was a teenager when Michael Vick was here.
Oh, that thing was.
Yeah. Come on now. Man, that bruh. And they wasn't elite.
No.
But Michael Vick to Atlanta was something that the city needed.
Right.
And that's where you got to talk to management to say, hey, listen, I understand it's twofold. We got to win football games and we got to sell tickets.
Right.
I don't know. And I'm not saying that to shame Kirk Cousins.
Right.
What I am saying is let's give a little bit more perspective too. Because the perspective about it is, my take personally was, Cam's getting old. He ain't getting no younger. He's 32 at the time. He's coming off a shoulder injury, Liz Frank, cool. All things that are not, quote unquote, serious injuries.
They're not career ending.
Career ending. If you tore your Achilles back when you was playing, you're done.
Yeah, you were never the same player.
So now he's coming back. I had this take on 4th and 1. You're giving this person the money coming off an injury? So how am I supposed to feel? Because the same questions and the same concerns that you had with me, obviously you done overlooked that.
You see, don't have those concerns with him.
And if you give Kirk Cousins my resume, he probably would have got more. But I'm tripping. But I'm bitter. But I'm mad. I'm not. I'm just exposing the truth. And it's for you to digest it however you feel.
There are a lot of running backs that changed teams. Derrick Henry went to the Ravens, Saquon Barkley went to the Eagles, and Joe Mixon went to the Texans. They also got Stephon Diggs. Which running back do you feel will have the biggest impact?
The biggest impact? Mm-hmm. I don't think he has as many yards, but I think he has a bigger impact. Derrick Henry.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he made a great year for Derrick Henry would be 750 yards. Not 1,000 that he used to, because obviously you got to share that workload with Lamar. But if he can get 750 and take that, put these games away, like we've all known the Baltimore Ravens just to bring their teams into submission, I think Derrick Henry.
I think Derrick Henry needs to have about 1,100 because I don't want Lamar to run. Because now when you play action that thing with Big D Henry coming down the hill, and he roll over and Lamar pulls that ball up out of there, Zay Flowers and those guys gonna be running scot-free.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think 1,100 yards is gonna make or break that impact.
That ain't nothing in 17 games.
Which is true, but you got to understand, I don't see Derrick Henry averaging 120, 140 yards per.
No, can he give us 70?
Yes. So 70 times 17, if that's the average, that's all we need.
That's it.
And then when you get into the red zone, we got to shrink this field. Now they really going to be on the attack and dictating to the defense.
Right.
Now we playing chess.
Right. Christian McCaffrey, you played a couple of years with him. I believe he's the best running back in football because of what he can do.
Right.
He's not 225 pounds, but he can run inside, he can run outside, you can put him in the slot, he can catch it, you can put him out wide, you can swing, dump it to him, he can make people miss, and he's better than you think at pass protecting, even though of his size. What did you notice about C-Mac when he was there with you in Carolina?
Christian McCaffrey was polished to be a professional football player when he was in rec ball. Like, I mean, I think the viral clip went around when, his father, Ed, was giving him IVs in high school. That's a little different. His preparation before the game, the people don't see how he take care of his body. Mm-hmm. A big Bruce Lee fan, be as water. Right. This guy takes care of his body better than I've ever seen anybody, from his dieting to his
trainers, physios.
Just preparation before, practice.
Right.
He has a real routine. And I think for him, it's not about size, because he understands the Christian McCaffrey that we see today was not the Christian McCaffrey we saw as a rookie. He realized I have to put on weight to endure this type of beating.
Right.
But I think Christian McCaffrey is capped by the position that he plays, because he's so much more than just a running back.
Correct.
If you really want to put Christian McCaffrey, he could be a top 10 receiver. And that's not fabrication. This is, if you say, all right, C-Mac, this year we're going to move you from running back and we're going to put you as a receiver. And I guarantee you, he does numbers. That's just his position gives him that, what I think he's making 17 a year. Around that, where he should be making 25 at like a top tier receiver.
Right.
That's just the impact that Christian McCaffrey has.
There was a lot of speculation, and I don't know how true it is because I haven't really talked to anybody about Lamar, in that free agent wide receivers, top free agent wide receivers, didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
Because it's not that they don't believe Lamar can throw, it's just the type of offense that they believe they run. Sure. They're going to be doing more blocking than catching. Was that something that you experienced, that it wasn't that Cam couldn't throw, because you threw for 4,000 yards as a rookie?
Yeah.
So clearly you can throw the football.
Right.
But because of the type of offense that you guys ran, receivers, free agent receivers, felt that, man, I'm not going to get an opportunity to showcase, and they're going to say, I'm a bust because I'm not catching 100 balls.
It's the situation as a receiver that you got to say, hold on, that's not a good situation for me. I'm a fan of Lamar.
Right.
I'm speaking as a receiver. I'm a fan of Lamar, but that may not be the right situation. I don't think Stephon Diggs was sitting up here saying, I want to go to Baltimore.
Correct.
I think we found that out with Odell. Odell wasn't featured like he would have thought to be featured, but that doesn't say he still doesn't have it. But I've definitely dealt with that as well, and I think the Ravens organization is not in the position of trying to promote Pro Bowl players. We're trying to create Super Bowl players.
Right.
And our system is what it is, and it goes through and it stops with Lamar Jackson.
Right. Two-part question. Russell Wilson comes to Denver. We know what he did in Seattle. Goes without saying. He went to the Super Bowl, won one, lost another, was a bad play call away from possibly winning 2 Super Bowls within his first 2 to 3 years of his NFL career. 40, 50,000 yard passing, over 300 touchdowns. He's going to have 400 passing touchdowns before. Why didn't it work in Denver? And I'm sure you've heard the stories about how some of the things transpired that wasn't football related.
Yeah, but I don't think when you change ownership or when you change coaching, they got to go with their guys. I don't think when Sean Payton got into that locker room, I don't think Russell was his guy. And it impacted his play, whether the pressure of everything. And your psyche while you're playing, good or bad, you got that in the back of your mind. They tried to make it work, but it just wasn't that. That's one. Number two is he didn't have the support that he had in Seattle now. You would have thought how many times the Carolina Panthers played Seattle Seahawks, they was a divisional game. And it was some battles. Right?
Yeah.
So I knew the impact of the Legion of Doom or the Legion of Boom, however you want to look at it. The 12th man with Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, and
B.
Wagner, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin. Like these guys, they were intimidating, bro. And they wasn't trying to beat on homeboys and dap you up. We'll do that shit after the season. Even at the end of the game, we ain't with no friendly shit with you, bro. Fuck you. When you have that to look across, I don't think he had that type of same support in Denver.
Right.
Not to say that defense wasn't a stand-up defense. It was just a lot of combinations of things where it was just a style of play. Pete Carroll had that organization. They was bound to have something happen that was like, oh, bro, it don't happen to nobody but Seattle. They always a play away. When you see that comeback from the Green Bay that year, it was just like, bro, it would not happen to no other team. Even when we played them during our year going to the Super Bowl, we were up by like 28 points. They came back, and if it wasn't for an onside kick that we recovered, that was just that type of team.
Right.
And, I don't think that was the same rollout in Denver that he had.
And then you get Justin Fields. His situation goes as I think 15th pick overall. I think he's top 20 pick. Had some good moments. Tremendous legs.
Yeah.
Studied, got better at studying, understand the plays, understand what was expected of him. Why didn't it work in Chicago?
But that's where we got to also not just critique Justin Fields.
Yeah.
We got to critique management. Man, they didn't put him in the best positions to be successful. Okay. He's running, the unbelievable legs. He's running for his life.
Right.
Shit, you put somebody else in there that can't run, he would have had doubled the sacks. Mm-hmm. And also preparing him or having him evolve as the player that he needs to become. That's coaching, that's general management, that's ownership. This is our franchise guy. We gotta develop him in a way for longevity.
Right.
We're seeing the same thing kind of happen with Bryce Young. If y'all don't develop this player in the right way, then we're gonna say after a year or two, he was a bust.
Right.
But that's not the player. That's the management going into a situation. Because if you were to ask, if you were to put the power back into the players during the draft, and if it wasn't up to management to say who they wanted to go to, a lot of these teams, nobody wanted to go there because they know the insufficiencies of management.
Right.
But the players don't have that Eli power to say, no, I don't want to go over here.
Right.
But if they did, it would be more teams saying, I don't want to go to this team.
Right.
Why would I want to do that? I seen what y'all did to him.
Right.
Yeah, y'all ain't about to do that with me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So now both of these guys end up in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, and he says right now Russell Wilson is in the pole position, and there'll be a time that Justin Fields will be able to compete for the starting job. So what do you think the Steelers' thought process was? Because I have my opinion on what I think it is. Tell me what you think it is.
I think Mike Tomlin is doing what I just said. He's developing Justin Fields. Hey, we're going to bring in a veteran that you can see not only his preparation on the field, but how does he take care of his body? I want you to study that. And then he's on a 1-year contract. If he does not produce, then you will be inserted to take on that.
Right.
And you're still young enough to be labeled a franchise guy.
Right.
So it's chess here. And if anybody can coach Justin Fields, it's Mike Tomlin. Because he knows the struggles. He knows how the vernacular or choice of words to get through to his quarterback in that type of manner.
What does Lamar have to do to get to that Super Bowl? Because he's been an MVP twice.
Yeah.
One vote away from being a 2-time unanimous MVP, 2-time first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowls. We know he's going to the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. But I believe he needs that one Super Bowl. Now we start talking about Lamar as one of those pantheon, one of those top 6, 7 quarterbacks with multiple because there aren't many that have multiple MVPs and Super Bowl.
But this is the thing that I think we get so jaded and distracted by things that have so many different determining factors, right? Does Brady have as many Super Bowl rings without certain rules being in place? Does Patrick Mahomes have, the same amount of, if this play goes one way, that play goes another? I don't think Lamar Jackson's greatness is dictated or predicated off of him winning the Super Bowl or not.
No, he's great.
For sure.
But that EST is what we're trying to add.
For sure. But I think, like I said earlier, the Baltimore Ravens have to find a way to win the ugly game.
Yeah.
And if we can find a way to win those type of games, that's all 3 levels and 3 phases of football. That's offensively, defensively, and special teams. If we can find a way to win those type of games, then we'll be good. There's no denying that they have enough talent to win. But I don't want the pressure to be on any player to think that you got to win a Super Bowl to be labeled a great player or a generational player. We've seen it time and time again. I always ask this question because it's so paramount to putting perspective into sports. What's more important, impact or championships? You look at a guy like Allen Iverson. Mm-hmm. Is he not great?
Yes.
Does he not get the EST?
No, I think the way I look at it, Cam, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you can be great without winning a championship. Mm-hmm. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have won a championship. Karl Malone is a great player. Yeah. Is he better than Tim Duncan because he didn't have talent? He can't be. Charles Barkley is a great player. I believe you can be great without winning a championship in any sport. Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. But you have to win championships.
But you're thinking about a lot of determining factors.
The same determining factors that went into him winning the MVP.
Which is true. But hear me out. Karl Malone was a great player and was a shot away from obtaining an NBA championship. Yes. If it wasn't for the Russell push-off crossover. Yeah. And then, boom, we seen Michael Jordan's last shot as a Bull. Yes. If he misses that shot, then Karl Malone, do we know him to still have that same thing? So his greatness was still, it is what it is. It's so many different things in sports that we look at and say to ourselves, I mean, let's look at Caitlin in college right now.
Yes.
All right. During this time, we don't know if she's going to win the national championship.
Correct.
But her not winning the national championship, does that suppress her greatness?
No. She's still great.
You see what I'm saying?
But I can't put her in front of Tarasi. I can't put her in front of Stewie. I can't put her in the others that have multiple championships and have the same credentials. They won Final Fours and won Finals MVP. They won Naismith Awards. So I just, like I said, is she great? Yes, I believe you can be great without winning a championship. But in order for us to add the EST, you have to have a championship.
Say less. That's opinionated. But that's just a discussion at barbershops all across America and cigar conversations.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Without those championships, would you still look at Kobe the same way without those championships? Would you still look at Jordan the same way without those championships?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No.
Because I'm gonna tell you this. No, you're right.
You wouldn't.
You're right. But I don't respect the championship that Kobe won with Shaq more than I appreciate the championship that he won with Lamar Odom.
Okay.
Or Powell.
Okay.
Or Derek Fisher. That one was a grinder. That's a person, going back to what I was saying.
Right.
There was some ugly wins.
Yes.
It required him to exert just as much energy on the offensive side as the defensive side. He's guarding the best player.
Yeah.
And I'm still giving everything that I got.
Right.
But that still doesn't negate that he was on a great team.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, those teammates have to also understand the amount of focus that it requires. Like, when you got a great player, we can't just say, "Oh, Lamar got it."
Right.
Everybody got
Raise the
some
level.
urgency has to rise.
Yes.
And the great players brings that out from the whole organization. Patrick Mahomes does it.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has done it. And I see what you're saying, so I would agree with what you're saying.
The Panthers, the team that you spent the lion's share of your career with, how do they put Bryce Young in a situation where they can get the maximum value for what they gave to get him?
Well, I remember having a conversation with a brief conversation with him during Super Bowl. I saw him at a party, and I think he needs to understand that voicing his opinion is important.
Yes.
Some quarterbacks have that freedom too, and some don't. You ain't at the age or you can tell us who and what you want.
Yeah, you're a rookie.
Yeah, but you have to, because every offensive coordinator asks their quarterback this question. Game on the line, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8. Gotta have a situation. Who would you prefer to throw the football to? See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, game on the line or going into the season, what do you need to be successful?
Right.
And he needs to have those answers for that. So talk to Bryce. Bryce has to obviously be open to doing it, not doing it publicly.
Right.
Right? But doing it behind the scenes to say, listen, if we got this person in the draft, this is who I want.
Right.
That, like, I need to be protected.
Right.
And not to just think selflessly on the offensive side. Man, we need defense. We need to control, like, understanding what our division is. Because first, in any type of team atmosphere, you have to dominate your division first. Yeah. That only guarantees you that you will go to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not so sure they know what the hell they're doing, because they had an opportunity to get 2 first-rounders for Brian Burns, and they traded him to the Giants for less than that.
We have to start holding these people in management accountable. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when a guy like me says that, it's like, what the fuck would you do? I'll tell you what I'd do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that even going back to the franchise, it's like, bro, you should not have cleaned house like you clean your house. Getting rid of a Ryan Khalil impacted that offensive line. Getting rid of a Thomas Davis impacted that defense, not just the linebackers. Losing Luke, how you lost Luke. Luke retired, right? But I do think Luke would not have retired if he knew that locker room was still going to be intact. He probably would have took some time off, right? And his health isn't important. You know, taking concussions extremely serious. But that would have been something that you would have had to consider, being a Luke Kuechly, knowing that I still got KK Short, I still got Charles Johnson, I still got Thomas Davis, I still got guys that's gonna battle with me. You dig what I'm saying? Julius Peppers. They all left, and these are the things that he had to think back and say, hold on, we ain't got none of that. I got to start over. Nah, I'm good with that. And I can't speak for Luke, but these are the things that, on hindsight, you got to think about.
Shador, all intents and purposes, he's going to come out this year. And his father, Coach Prime, said, look, I don't want my son to play in a cold weather, and I'm going to I'm going to have a say in where he plays.
Yeah.
He said, Eli did it. Even I told teams, I ain't going there. The thing that he has, that Eli had, is that his dad had money.
You got clout. Sure.
And so, he didn't come from those situations where, we eating ketchup with a knit needle.
Yeah.
And we robbing Peter to pay Paul. What do you think? What's an ideal situation? First of all, what do you think about Coach Prime saying that he wants Shador to be X, Y, Z? And what do you think an ideal landing spot for Shador would be?
Atlanta.
They just gave First Cousins all that money.
We'll figure all that other shit out. You ever heard of dead cap?
Yeah, the Broncos got $85 million.
We'll figure all that other shit out. If Prime can get Shador in Atlanta, but let me tell you something. All businesses, including Magic City, will be appreciative of that damn pick right there. Real talk. So these are the things but I don't think he'll be a top 4 pick as he was on record of saying.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I remember having a conversation with Deshaun Watson when he got drafted, because Deshaun, just alike with Justin Fields, they came through my 7-on-7 program.
Right.
And I had
both are from Georgia, one's from Gainesville, and I think from Kennesaw.
Yes, sir. He went to not Roswell. Harrison, correct. And I remember telling them, you're in the best situation than any other of the quarterbacks. I think Deshaun went 12th to Houston. You got a quality receiver in D-Hop. You know what I'm saying? And the level of expectation isn't like you can.
They're gonna let you grow a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? I think really too, and I say this humbly, my success in the league was not good for the upcoming rookie quarterbacks. When you see guys like Peyton Manning didn't become good until after the second and third year. They threw him out there in the fire, but if Peyton Manning was drafted in this day and age of expectations,
and throw 26 interceptions,
no, hell no. But when you see a guy like a Joe Burrow, when you see guys that have early success,
CJ Stroud,
oh my goodness. You want to go somewhere where you can really take your time and becoming the guy your way. You see what I'm saying? And that's just some of the things that you got to think about. So from Prime's perspective, it's not just whether that I think he's trying to run away from. It's the situation.
Right.
And
who's best equipped to give my son the tools?
Come on now. When you think about it and you say, do we go to a Giants and he don't got the talent that he's capable of having, or a Las Vegas? See what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, I see what y'all trying to do over here. We're going to take our talents over there. I don't think weather has anything to do with it. I think certain situations has everything to do with it.
Caleb Williams. RG3 said that he believed Caleb Williams should pull an Eli Manning.
He don't got the juice. He don't. When you think about, you ain't even got to say the first name. When you mention the word or utter the word Manning, I come with a little tremble like, who? When you think about Sanders, they don't even know, half the people don't even know his last name. They say Prime.
Right.
Dion. That come with a little rattling of the, ooh. Williams? Nah. And that's shit. You say Newton. That ain't got no, juice either. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we already see what that tried to get you. We sitting across from Shay Shay. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in nobody training camp. You did OTAs, but that's just the facts.
Right.
So I think now when you're looking at these situations and who got the ability to say what they not gonna do, it comes with a pre-existing resume. Because obviously I got sons. When my son get to that point, hopefully, if he ever is in a draft, my daughters is ever in a draft, oh, you best believe. Nah, we straight, we good. What y'all want? Nah, I'm representing them. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm gonna put my son and my daughter in the best situation to succeed.
Right.
And that's not a succeeding-esque situation.
Right. Do you believe the Bears made the right decision moving on from Justin Fields? Because I said this, Cam, I said, I do not believe the Bears are gonna pass up 2 number 1 overall quarterbacks in back-to-back years. I said, no way they'll do it. No way.
I would have loved to see what Justin Fields could do with
adding Keenan
Allen.
They got DJ still there.
Got DJ Moore.
Cole Kmet still there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what would he would have done with that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess we'll never know.
Are you surprised that they made this move?
No, I'm not, because I don't know what was happening inside that locker room or inside that organization. And we've talked, a couple times, and I think with Justin, he's one of those. He's not a vocal person.
He's not vocal like you, Cam.
Yeah, he not.
Nobody else though, Cam.
Yeah, which is true, but I'm saying, like, I don't think he could express himself, nor did I think he knew how to express himself in a way that it wouldn't come off in a conflicting way.
Right.
But in that position, you gotta have some shit to you. I'll give you another person who may not be vocal, but he got some shit to him. Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. You don't see Aaron Rodgers, hey, bring it up. Everybody on me. That's one of those, like, when they do that, shit, that's a swaggy motherfucker, boy. Bad, cold. But he just does it in his subtle way.
Long way.
You know what I'm saying? So all these different players is, you gotta have some stuff to you.
Let's talk about his fashion. He's received a lot of criticism, painting his nails, doing certain things. You were a guy that caught a lot of criticism from the way you dressed. Man, Cam with them tight clothes on, he think 'cause they this and that, they look good. They don't look good. He got them hats, he may need to do. How the hate that he received and you received, how would you tell him to handle that situation, and how did you handle it?
Just be you. We don't need no more Cam Newtons. We don't need no more Peyton Mannings or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. We need unique players being themselves. And I got news for you. Gen Z is here, and Gen Z is here to stay.
Right.
So whatever you may think that ain't football, man, that dude got pink nails. But I guarantee you, if he paint his nails pink, hell, even dye his hair pink, if they win the football games, ain't nobody gonna worry about that
Thank
shit.
you.
Like, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Don't get worried about fashion. Like, bro, I have a life outside of football. These are things that I like. I love art. I love, fashion. I love my family. I love doing things that will take my mind off of the daily rigors of the pressures of performing. And you can't judge me. Hell, I don't go to your cubicle. I don't go to your job saying what you can and can't do. Why are you drinking a caramel macchiato? Ain't you counting your calories? But, it just is what it is. I think, what Caleb Williams represents is something that is unique to who he is. And we can't be hypocrites to allowing.
Why we like that, Cam?
I ain't like that.
No, but
people. I remember I was having this conversation with Coach Shula, Mike Shula, one of my favorite coaches of all time that have coached me because he knew how to speak Cam, right? We had a head-butting one time with the things that he was trying to make me understand the level of expectations for what being a franchise quarterback was.
Okay.
And he said something. He said, Would you see Peyton Manning doing this? Would you see Tom Brady doing this? And I had to stop him. I said, hey, listen, I'm not trying to be no Tom Brady. I'm not trying to be Peyton Manning. Because guess what? I can do some shit that they can't do. And they can do some shit that I can't do. But it's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. And we all trying to win football games.
Right.
So I hear what you're trying to say. But you have to also understand that that ain't me.
Right.
I'm not trying to be there. You dig what I'm saying? I could go into Peyton Manning's neighborhood where he from. Peyton can't come to where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna do no camps at College Park.
College Park.
No. But I could go, to Louisiana.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? And I go to California and do whatever. And I'm out. The moral of the story is, you should not have to try to mimic what somebody else did to appease to somebody else. Be you.
That's not why they're winning games. You think they're winning games because they stand up there and they all button up and they speak eloquently at the end of the game. They're winning games because they're winning games because of what they do during the course of the week.
Correct.
And if I'm doing that during the course of the week, why you care if I got on Versace or Bliss, whatever I got on?
Don't matter. It could be.
I come out there to the bath. I come out there with a towel sheet on.
Naked.
No.
Shit, listen here. I'm winning football games, man.
Right.
Shit.
Did you ever get tired of hearing people say, man, Cam, stop dressing. Man, you dressing like an auntie. You dressing all them women clothes, them tight clothes. Did you ever get tired? Do you get tired of hearing that? Because you still hear it to this day.
Bring your girl around me. and we'll figure all that up.
We'll figure out whether about you.
Hey, man, listen, you don't think I got the juice. She get to smelling these dreads and smelling that aura and, smelling that ghost. Get to seeing like, oh, man, I like what you did with that. You could tie your bow tie. Is that a clip-on? Oh, baby, I really tie bow tie. Like, oh, pocket square. How did you do that with a jean jacket? What you doing with that? How you got a doggone wallet chain, a pocket watch, like all these different details? It's like, man, I really study fashion.
Right.
I grew up in the church. Mm-hmm. So even though the Bible say, come as you are, Hattie Lou Newton wasn't letting me come in there with no Jordan shorts and some flip-flops. I had to press my jeans.
You coming as you are.
Come on.
That's how you are.
And I'm stepping.
Right.
And you can't name anything that I got on. Because a lot of it is from a thrift store. I thrift. These are things that I genuinely enjoy to do outside of it.
Right.
I love textures. I love textiles. I love art. Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat. I love these people. Jay-Z. I love Pharrell. I love Kanye. I love the artistry of music, paintings. Like these are self-expression in many different facets. And I tried to bring that to the game of football by saying, oh, this is what type of time I'm on today. I'm feeling sporty. Let me go on a step and let everybody know how I'm coming today. I want to feel like James Bond today. I'm going to put on a tuxedo.
Right.
Oh, I want to, get my urban on. I want to, dress with a shirt or whatever I want to do. I can do it. And that should not have any type of issue with how I play because it really doesn't.
Right. What does Cam's fashion say about him? So what we have on today? What is Cam trying to relay today? What you saying today? What you on today?
I'm a big stepper. You see what I'm saying? Like I've been quoted in the media recently saying, just because you got a lot of money don't mean that you got style.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? And I remember
you got a problem with everybody stripping the mannequin.
Yeah, that's a mannequin. That ain't you. Like, man, you got the Versace glasses with the Versace shirt, with the Versace belt, and the Versace purse, and the Versace. Like, cool, that's fine. I don't knock that. But when I see fashion for what it's right, I say, damn, like, I like how you put that on, or I like the ribbon that you tied around your neck. Like I'm the Canelo, the Ralph Laurens, the Kiths, the Canelo Brucinelli,
Bruno Cucinelli.
Brunello Cucinelli.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
I know. Hey,
no, don't.
You know, I mean, hey.
You dig what I'm saying? Like these are all fashion inspired things that I like, and you don't have to have that per diem to look good. You see what I'm saying? Like you can go wherever you want to go and to mimic that a little, but doing it with your
own flair.
With your own flair.
So you get up every morning, Cam, and put this on?
Am I lying?
Cam, every day, 7 days a week, you get up and dress like, not one time do you want to put on some athleisure. Not one time do you say, man, you know what, I ain't feeling like getting all sporty today, so you know what.
I do you one better. You ask any one of my teammates, how did Cam dress? It was every day. It was a lifestyle, bro. Every single day. I got so many clothes that I'm not about to waste my money. And I done find myself spending $4,000 on a jacket or a pair of shoes that I only wear once. And I done spent $14 on a pair of jeans that I wear every day. And it's gonna look completely different. So people who really know me know, bro, every day Cam gonna dress up. It's gonna be a different side, different style. I don't consider myself with the Neapolitan, with the strawberry, vanilla, or the chocolate. I'm Baskin Robbins. I got so much flavor.
You got 31.
And more. I'm a stepper. I'm a big stepper. Never pledge. I pledge me. But, bro, I'm trying to tell you, if an opportunity presents, those are the things that I genuinely care about. I love dressing up my kids. I love, doing that because that was a passion that I didn't come from money.
Right.
So we had to make do with what we had. Mm-hmm. We wasn't poor, but I remember watching MTV Cribs, and I was saying to myself, golly, man, look at that closet.
Yeah.
Dang, if I ever had that, I was gonna do this. And then I invested in so many different pieces of clothing, and that energy wasn't reciprocated. You know what I'm saying? Man, I done spent $10,000 with y'all, and you ain't gonna, don't worry about it. Or I go and support a black business, and shoot, that reciprocation is still there. You see what I'm saying? So I love putting people on and say, bro, what you got on? Oh man, this ain't thrift store, bro. This,
Yeah, that MTV Cribs had me fooled too, because a lot of times they rented them cribs for a day.
No, they did. What? See, that's why we here. We trying to expose all that renting ass shit. Man. What's the real? You feel me?
So let me ask you this. It was reported, and you can confirm or you can deny this, that Jerry Richardson, when you sat down him, he was owner of the Carolina Panthers when you was going to be selected number 1 overall. And he asked you, he said, you have any tattoos? You said no. Mm-hmm. Do you have any piercings? You said no. He said, keep it that way. Was that true?
Yes. But it wasn't what it was. That was what he said, but he also said other things after that.
Okay.
He said we want to keep it that way because we don't want you to go out and do anything that's not a good representation of this franchise. I'm gonna give you the keys to this Ferrari now. I don't want you to scratch it up. Me and Mr. Richardson's relationship was something that I had one regret in my life. I never had a relationship with my grandfathers. Because by the time I came of age, they were deceased. Mm-hmm. And the man who I am now, I go to my father to have these uncomfortable and comfortable conversations. And with Mr. Richardson, what people didn't know, man, we had some real conversations. And 70% of them had anything to do with football. He had a very good perspective of who I was and what I was becoming. He would always say, Cam, save your money. Because I would tell him, I was like, yo, I want to become the second football player to own a franchise. He says, Cam, you got to save your money. I said, Mr. Richardson, how do you save your money? He said, well, I had to make a business decision. I left the NFL. I played with Johnny Unitas, one of the greatest quarterbacks. He still believed at the time that Johnny Unitas was the best quarterback to ever play, and rightfully so. But I had to make a business decision because the Baltimore Colts wasn't going to pay me enough for me to provide for my family. So I had to go into the workforce. He started, in that way to, I believe it was Hardee's. Right? Then it went into Bojangles.
Yep.
So these things is something as a businessman where I am now, me having different businesses and trying to have it be producing assets, not liabilities. Just because fellowship is of existence doesn't mean that fellowship making money. It's my job to make sure that everything that I put my name on and that I'm a part of, Iconic Saga, everything that you see me produce, whether either social media or on YouTube long format, is produced and created by my staff at Iconic Saga. No backing, no help, no nothing. And it comes with the key thing that he taught me was he had these core values or these core words for the franchise to abide by. And one of those things was harmony. I was like, man, what the hell harmony got to do with it? He said, Cam, you have to understand harmony is the key ingredient for any two people or more to coexist. You got to be on the same page. I can't want something from you that you don't want from yourself or you not in alignment with that. Hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like these things are something that I still hold dear to my everyday life today. So no matter if it's a homeboy, my partner, whether we intimate or not, it's whether working relationships or not, harmony is key. And honesty to the degree where transparency, like I gotta know how you think, I know how you feel, and you gotta feel safe to express yourself and that I'm not gonna judge you for that, so.
The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bet with any college basketball bet. North Carolina listeners, don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in your state. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Shannon. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code Shannon. The crown is yours. You go to the Carolina Panthers, #1 overall. Your debut game, you throw for 422. I think the next game you throw for 423. First rookie to have back-to-back 400-yard passing days. Fastest player to throw for 1,000 yards. Still a record. Set a single-season rushing record for quarterback rushing touchdowns. First quarterback, I think you're the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. Rookie to throw for 4,000 yards also.
Oh, yeah.
First player in NFL history to have at least 5 rushing touchdowns and 5 passing touchdowns in the first 5 games. Named Rookie of the Year. And you were number 2 in college. Somehow you end up with #1. You the first pick in the draft. They held #1. When you came out there and got that jersey, you had #1. What happened to the #1 jersey?
I really didn't want to be #1.
I mean, what happened to the #1 jersey? Why you didn't get that?
Jimmy Clausen.
You got a big bang take little bang. Hostile takeover.
Yeah, he tried to
hustle you? He tried to finesse you, didn't he?
He tried to jugger. That boy from Atlanta, bro. I'm a finesse. And when I felt like he was finessing, see, that goes back to the thing that made me great. My mentality. When Jimmy Clausen charged me $1 million for my number, I said that would be the last.
Why don't you just go to the equipment manager?
No, it's proper protocol. Even the equipment manager said, hey, the person who has #2, you got to work out a deal with him. So I went direct to the source. That's how my dad raised me. I ain't have no problem with uncomfortable conversations. Hell, it was comfortable for me. And when I felt that he was trying to play me, that took over to say, we will never hear Jimmy Clausen again in Carolina.
So you made sure he gonna get up.
That was the chip on my shoulder. And that's what made me who I was.
How much would you have been willing to partake to get that number?
I would have donated $100,000 to his foundation or whatever, to him, I don't care. When he hit me with $1 million, I thought he was joking. And I said, I've been public with saying that. I'm like, $1 million? I was waiting on the like, nah, man, I'm just playing. I said, all right, cool. We hung up the phone. He called me back like an hour later and was like, man, I was just talking to some representatives of mine and we'll do $750,000. I said, oh, you for real? I said, bro, motherfuckers don't even make $1 million in their lifetime where I'm from. You think I'm about to give you $1 million for a fucking number? But, all right. Say less.
I mean, I bought a bass boat. I thought that was pretty. I got a pretty good deal. Man. I traded with Frank Wainwright, Freaky Frank. I asked him, say, you got any hobbies? Because I wanted 84. Jermaine Lewis had 84. I offered he and his wife Rolexes. He said, nah, I kind of want to keep the, okay, fine. Went to Frank Wainwright because he was with me the year before in Denver. And I was like, man, he's like, nah, Sharpe, you can take it. I said, nah, bro, I don't want to just take the number. He's like, I said, what's your hobby? He said, man, I fish. Bought him a bass boat. I got 82, he got a bass boat. Hopefully he still got it. But I get what you're saying. You know, it's your number, you had it. I don't want to just big up you and just take the number. How we make it work? Man. But bro, you ain't finna hustle me now.
My energy changed. I was trying to be a good teammate.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed. You know, as a competitor, you don't need too much to get going.
Hell no.
It's one of them, you can say something wrong to me and I'll be, is that really how you feel? Because when I look eye to eye to you and I'm gonna have my discerning things like, oh, he for real.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry about it. And at that particular point in time, it went from becoming the best player to ever play for Carolina. Then it was like, you will never hear Jimmy Clausen's name as long as I'm here. And that was my first duty to kind of conquer.
Yeah. You wanted to erase Jimmy Clausen from the lexicon.
Don't even.
Anybody?
Bruh, yes. Because I felt played. And you're not gonna finesse me.
Right.
What you think this is? And that's all I needed.
Right.
He turned me, as the kids say, they teed me up.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, and that's just what it was. And I can see how he felt. It was like, yo, they took me with the first pick. They didn't have no first round picks the year before. He was the first pick of the draft in the second round. He's supposedly to be the franchise quarterback. It didn't go so well. But I'm telling you if the Carolina Panthers have the first pick, chances are they'd have a good season. So he was in that realm of trying to be insubordinate or trying to make it hard or whatever, and that's fine. That's cool. Don't try to do that with me. And the crazy thing about that, the following year, after I chose number 1, he went to number 7. So now number 2
is available.
Is available.
Why did he go to number 7?
I don't know. That was his college number, his high school number. I don't know. But now
that man really tried to finesse you, Cat. He gonna get, oh man.
You get what I'm saying? See, that's where it was like, these are the things behind the scenes that people don't really know what get you going. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, man, bro, who the fuck do you think you is? Oh, you gonna fuck around and find out. Oh, you think this? You gonna find out today.
When you got there, you had a guy that was a star in his own right, Steve Smith Sr.
Yes, sir.
One of the best receivers. He was a Triple Crown winner. One of the best receivers. For his size, pound for pound, I don't believe there's a better receiver to ever play the game than Smitty.
Yes, sir.
What did you take from Smitty? What was his, because I know him off the field, so what was he like as a teammate?
Great teammate. But just like Luke Kuechly, when Smitty was on the field, get the fuck out of his way. He was a pit bull. And that's what I took from him. Now, you have to understand who Smitty was. And if I could go back and change things, Smitty wanted to win yesterday. and he knew as a business what taking a young quarterback, that means we are rebuilding. He didn't want to rebuild. He wanted to win. And I can't take that away from Smitty. And we bumped heads, because he felt the transitioning of the team to kind of go to the quarterback. And I can't fault him for that. If I had to change things, I would wish to have had Smitty my 5th year. Because now we can talk. We can have grown man conversations. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that's like, going into an NFL locker room at the age of 21, 22.
Because we got all these veterans.
Bro,
and you got to lead them.
I had John Beeson. I had Thomas Davis. I had Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil. These older guys was like leaning in for a rookie at the age. I didn't know. I went from a locker room where all my players that shared the field with me were my peers. We're talking about, man, what we gonna play? At that time, they had NCAA. Like, what, we're gonna go play Madden. We're gonna go get 25-cent wings at the spot. We're gonna go bowling. Man, when you go into the NFL locker room, hey, we're gonna try to go bowling. No, man, it's date night for me and my wife. Nah, I gotta go pick up my kids from the daycare. It's Friday. I ain't got time these are family men. These ain't you talking to a guy that's 38, approaching 40, 35, 32. What the hell they got in common with a 21-year-old? Gen Z ain't mixing with no millennials.
Yeah.
You digging what I'm saying? Like all these baby boomers in that locker room, they ain't trying to, you feel me? So that's what the disconnect was. And I learned so much from Smitty because even though he was aggressive on the field, great teammate. Still to this, during the time, he never wanted to have his own room on the road. He would always room with a younger player so that he could teach them the preparation, what it was like. Wow. And I always respected that about him. Gave the best gifts, heart of gold. But on that field, bruh, a shark. If he sensed any blood, oh boy, in practice, walkthroughs, or anything, man, Smitty coming after you, bro. 5'9" with a soul of a 6'4" nigga. Like, I said it, but it was Smitty that he was describing. Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that Super Bowl run, that magical season. You're 15-1. You win the MVP outright. Steve McNair shared the MVP award with Peyton Manning in 2003. What changed for you? What clicked that year that everything fell into place? 35 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You had another, I think, 10 rushing touchdowns. Yeah. Come from behind victory. You guys did it all. What transpired that year that you was like, I got it?
It was definitely harmony. But also a trust in coaching, knowing that that's really when Riverboat Run was giving me an opportunity. Like, I feel comfortable with the ball in my hands. Mm-hmm. Let me run. I know how to protect myself. I know how the chess of the philosophy of the game. If we're in any short yardage situations, let's make the defense play 11 on 11. Right. Just leave me with one guy. I can run through, run past, go around. I can find a way to get a yard. Put the ball in my hands and I think that was the year they had more design runs. Right. And that's why I felt comfortable. Like when you look at all the success that I had in my career, high school, even in college, I was able to protect myself by running the football. Even though that the game at that point in time didn't see nothing like that. I don't know what they're gonna do with, taking the hits off. I could protect myself outside the pocket. Now we see Richardson in the Colts. We see Lamar. We see, all these run-first quarterbacks that they would
design the run. You guys had power. You pulled the guard, the tackle, and the fullback.
And we're going to figure it out. Let's get the butter from the duck. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the time where things started coming into play. Then you started saying, let's design passes off of this.
Right.
Pull the same guard, the same fullback, ride, and then boom, the RPOs. So when people talking about the RPO, like these are the things that derived from something. We was doing that with the quarterback as the runner.
Yeah, the major primary ball carrier.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So my relationship with Mike Shula, Ken Dorsey was my quarterback coach, and even Coach Rivera, like it was meshing that year. And that's what it pretty much came down to.
You beat the Cardinals in the NFC Championship game. You destroyed them, and you get to the Super Bowl. So what's your thought process? You're like, man, I'm the MVP. I'm in the Super Bowl. It was a beautiful day in Levi Stadium. Mm-hmm. Remember Super Bowl 50? Remember it like yesterday. My Broncos taking on the Carolina Panthers. What do you remember? Go back. What do you remember about you woke up that morning? You probably had the same pregame. What was your pregame meal?
I know the night before the game what that was.
What'd you have the night before the game?
Vanilla bean ice cream, marshmallows, caramel. That was mine.
You ain't have no pasta, no spaghetti, no meatballs, none of that?
I did, but that
is
just whatever they had.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you wake up that morning, you have your pregame meal.
Only thing I remember from that Super Bowl was I was mentally drained. It was a lot. And still to this, I ain't never really watched the game. No film, no coach's view, and none of that shit. I remember that feeling during the game I'm tired. Like, tired. I remember running around, I was like, yo, it's real stars on the sideline, you know what I'm saying? But still trying to stay focused. The halftime wasn't 15 minutes. It was damn near 45 minutes or an hour. Motherfuckers was changing their whole uniform, having to restretch, retape, all that. I'm like, damn, like this shit is a event. And during the game, certain scrambles or certain runs, I was tired. And knowing the measure of what was the mental task, I just thought, I was like, damn, dog, I'm ready for this shit to be over with. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't impact the game. I just remember, like, I had just had my first biological son that year, and I was just, I don't know. It was like, it was 2 times in my life that I couldn't lose, right? It was 2015 in Carolina, and then 2010 at Auburn. And that was just, you know, what Drake say, or the future. What a time to be alive. Like,
were you tired mentally? Were you tired emotionally? Were you tired physically? What was it about that day? Was it the magnitude of the moment? Was it you knew what you were about to embark upon, and how different your life would have been had you won that game? What felt different about that day that you all of a sudden you felt like you didn't normally?
I tried to treat it like a regular game, but it wasn't a regular game. You know what I'm saying? You played in the Super Bowl. Like, you know, like you can explain it, but to be in it, them lights is bright.
The crowd is already buzzing. Because normally you go out there for pregame, this stadium's half full. That stadium is 3/4 full and it's buzzing. The sideline is jam-packed. You got, excuse me, camera people, and like you said, the celebs. Normally you have 1 or 2 celebs, but you got the stars of the stars that's out on the sideline then. And you see it, but you know, like you said, you try to prepare like, man, this is a regular game. You know, hey, 3 points for a field goal, touchdown to 6, interception.
But the thing leading up to the game, you couldn't do your regular routine. It was like a virtual kind of preparation. You couldn't have the confines of your house to get treatment, you know, massage, stretching, and that process was on the road, on the go. And I don't remember the crowd being loud. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, because you got half the stadium was for the Broncos, half the stadium was for the Carolina Panthers. The other half was drunk, and they ain't give a damn who won.
It was just it was an event that, you know, when I think about it, it didn't, like, none of this has anything to do with the actual game. Right. But certain plays that played back in my mind constantly, still to this day, it's like, yo, what if he would have caught that? Or what if I would have dove on the fumble? Or what if, you know, the defense would have got to stop right here? Or what if, you know, we didn't have a 3 and out right there? You know what I'm saying? What if we would have went for it? Like, these things play back constantly, that preparing for a game of that magnitude, I did not give the respect to it like I should, because there's nothing bigger than a Super Bowl. No sporting event.
No.
And that's what I just...
You know they're going to pick apart about what you said about you being tired, you being... This game, you felt different than...
Yeah. But it's the truth. I mean, look, did I play my best game? No. Didn't. But the truth is, did Peyton Manning play his best game?
No.
Nah.
Both of you guys, I think, was sacked like 4 or 5 times, threw a pick, fumble.
Yeah, like, those things aren't... It's just, that wasn't the best version of myself that day, and I'm fine with that. And I found peace in it now. I wouldn't even say it wasn't meant to be. It was just like I just didn't put my best foot forward.
That fumble you mentioned, you got stripped of the ball, and the ball's on the ground bouncing around, and everybody thought you were going to dive on the ball, at least give yourself another possession, another opportunity. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
How long has it taken? How long, or have you gotten over that play, and how long did it take you to get over the Super Bowl loss?
I mean, I took it personal. Pretty much like a whole year. And then when I felt like we could get vindicated or have vengeance or revenge from that. We lost because of missed field goal in the rematch to start the season.
Kickoff.
But yeah, that's what I take. I mean, I'll say that we didn't lose the game because I didn't jump on the fumble. It was a combination of a lot of different things, but we lost, and I take full accountability on my, performance, and I could have been better. I should have been better.
Right.
So
the part of we've touched on a lot of things, and you touched on a lot of things. The one thing that you haven't touched a lot on that I can't recall is your brief stint at the University of Florida. Mm-hmm. They win the national championship the year before you got there, correct?
Yes. As I was enrolling, they were winning the championship. Yes, sir.
Tim Tebow is already there. Mm-hmm. Because Chris Leak is a starter. Tim Tebow comes in. They got packages for him.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the starter next year, unless you being Cam, and I know how you think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get this job.
Yeah. But that's not how I was recruited, though.
Okay.
I was recruited at the minimum with your skill set. You will have a package.
You have a package also,
just like Tebow had.
Okay.
And that wouldn't.
Okay. Hey, y'all won the national championship. A lot of these guys coming back.
I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at the style of runs, and I'm saying to myself, like,
that's me.
I could do it. That's me. I had to get my feet wet in the SEC as a freshman. 4 plays a game just to run, man, I could do that. Fuck, I mean, let's play linebacker early on in my rec ball, and then I transitioned into running back.
Right.
Then that transitioned into I could throw the further, so now you could play quarterback. Right. So these things is a part of my whole thing that embodied who I was as a player.
So you get there, and it's not shaping up kind of what they had told you or the way you envision it, because all of a sudden you're not getting these 4 to 5 plays a game.
Right.
And so did you have a conversation with Urban?
Urban he didn't want to talk to me. I wasn't important enough for Urban to talk to me. And granted, you got to think about it like this. Do you even have a voice to talk when the person you're trying to talk about is the Heisman frontrunner?
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with my father to say, like, Pop, it's time to kind of rethink this thing, because I would not have wanted a backup to me to have the energy to say, I only can play if he get hurt. I'm not that type of person.
Right. You don't want to put that negative in.
I'm an ultimate pro. I'm an ultimate teammate. Like, I wanted people to succeed. You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want Tebow to get hurt. He's the greatest college football player to some people. You know what I'm saying? And it's subjective. If not number one, he top 5. Right. And Tim Tebow is owed a large portion of who Cam Newton really is. Because just the same way I gave you what sparked my aggression or my competitive nature with Jimmy Clausen, it sparked the same thing with Tim Tebow. Being around Aaron Hernandez, the Pouncey twins, Chris Rainey, Joe Haden, Carlos Dunlap, Major Wright, Percy Harvin, like Brandon James, Brandon Spikes, these Lewis Murphy, all these great players that I was around, I would have been a fool not to take what they were doing and what made them great and apply it to my journey in JUCO as well as Auburn.
Right. So some things transpired. You get into a little trouble with a computer, and you end up.
But that wasn't the reason why I left. The reason why I left, like, did I get in trouble? Yes. That was already taken care of.
Okay.
Prior to me leaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get kicked out of
Florida.
But
that's how they framed the story.
Yeah, I didn't get kicked out of Florida.
Okay.
I left Florida.
Okay.
And when Tebow announced that, oh, and by the way, I'm coming back, I said, oh, shit.
It was a no-brainer, did it? Oh, yeah.
No. I got to leave now. I wasn't playing when you was here. So, and then for Urban's sake, you couldn't even identify who the backup was between me and John Brantley. I'm like, bro, what are we going on? We fighting for scraps? Y'all can have this. Cool. If it was up to me, did I want to leave? Hell no. Because them were my brothers.
Right.
Like, we built real relationships over that 2-year span that I was there. We worked out together, we trained together, we bled together, we cried together, we sweated together, we prepared together. And I'm seeing guys like Joe Haden play early as a freshman. I'm saying, damn, bro, I would love to have an opportunity to play. Marquise Pouncey playing early. Man, I would have loved to. Aaron Hernandez playing early. I would have loved to be out there. And those things when they're like, bro, like we'll go back to the dorms and have these conversations like, bro, that shit was lit. Like, bro, like you see all those people in there. I see them. I said, damn, I wish
I saw them, but they wasn't cheering for me.
You know, the main, everything, all the reasons why I went to Florida was accomplished other than me playing. And that's why I had to leave. Right. And at that time, they didn't have a transfer portal. So I had to get it out the mud. Urban Meyer had to sign off to where I transferred to.
Right.
He gave certain restrictions. You cannot transfer to in-state school. So FAU, FIU, Florida State, Miami. I couldn't go to none of them.
Right.
And I couldn't go
anywhere in the SEC.
So I said, how do I clear all that so I can go anywhere? I got to go JUCO. I said, shit, I'm going JUCO. And on top of that, what really ticked me the fuck off was when my father had called Urban to ask for a championship ring. He didn't give me a championship ring. So that really was my driving force to becoming the player who I was. I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to go get my own. Got one at JUCO, got one at Auburn.
You could make the case, given the talent that you had at Auburn on the offensive side, Cam, you had the greatest offensive season for a quarterback in NCAA history. Now, I know Joe Burrow threw for 60 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, but he had Justin Jefferson, he had Jamar Chase, he had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he had, I forget the guy's name.
Moss, tight end.
Moss at tight end. And he had, if I'm not mistaken, other wide receiver, the third wide receiver is in Carolina now. So what you had, look at what you didn't have and what you were able to accomplish. So basically, Jimmy Clausen lit a fire up under you, Tim Tebow lit a fire up under you, and Urban lit a fire up under you, not only by not playing you the 4 or 5 snaps that he said he would give you, but also when you asked for a championship ring for being on the team that you felt you were entitled to, like, nah, we good.
Yeah, but that's what made that, what they call it, that's what created the monster.
Right.
And if I could paint it the way I wanted to paint it, while I was at Auburn, there was an opportunity for Auburn to play Florida in the SEC championship.
That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted, Cam?
No racial slur, but boy, they would have seen the baboon out that motherfucker. I would have showed my whole ass. Boy, that's what I wanted. I wanted to prove to them that they fucked up, they made a mistake. I knew that was my point to prove I was better than Tebow. That was my opportunity to prove that y'all fucked up. That was my opportunity to prove that this could have been y'all, but you played me. And there was times where I will be the first person to tell you, while I was at the University of Florida, I was not the maturest person that I needed to be to lead that team.
Right.
And I would take responsibility for that. But who I grew to be, nobody was fucking with me.
But by the time you came back, that was the mature Cam Newton.
I needed alienation. In JUCO, I was in Brenham, Texas. And if I were to give you the amount of money that you got from Cat Williams to put up on the line and say, where is Brenham, Texas? You couldn't point it out. And everybody who was in Brenham on that team, they had some roots or ties to Texas. So there was many weekends, there was many times where the closest family member was thousands of miles away. Only thing I could do was work out. I cried. I mean, I was vulnerable. I was embarrassed. But that shaped the creation of who Cam was. People don't remember this. When I was at the University of Florida, they called me Cameron Newton.
Yeah.
When I went to Auburn, it was Cam Newton. So for me, that was the creation of Cam. 2 completely different people. I knew how to compartmentalize those different people. And I didn't let that situation use me. I used it. And when I look at my impact to football, I love to say people's favorite NFL player just started to get good in the NFL. I've been good at football by the grace of God. I was good in high school. I was good in college. I was good in junior college. And I was good in the NFL. There's not a lot of players that can say that. And it took a measure of focus and discipline and also vulnerableness to understand, like, bro, like, you out here by yourself. So when I talk to my 707 kids, when I talk to kids around, you know, the world, and I tell them, like, bro, I know what it's like to not have shit. And you so close to what you want. It ain't out of your reach. You just gotta tap in and use this game of football and not get jaded by the distractions, the money, the NILs, the woman, all these different things. Stay focused.
You go to Auburn, and then there's this. Auburn bought Cam Newton. His daddy received this large monetary sum of money.
Yeah.
So what's going on? How did this come about?
Allegedly.
Yes.
You know,
before you, so where were the schools that you could have gone to? Okay, you go to Auburn. So where, after Blinn, where were your choices?
Oklahoma, Kansas State, Mississippi State, Auburn.
Okay.
It was a whole different recruitment process when I was in JUCO rather than coming out of high school.
Okay.
Shit, out of high school, I was looking for gear and a good time.
Right.
By way of, female.
The hostesses.
Yeah. In JUCO, I was a millionaire mentality. How are y'all gonna incorporate me in this offense with my skill set?
Right.
Not what Sam Bradford was doing, because that ain't how I play the game.
Right.
I'm gonna bring a whole different element of this offense that you gotta start shaping some shit around. Kansas State the same way. Mississippi State, Dan Mullen, right? And he knew Dan Mullen was the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach while I was at Florida.
Okay. So you had some familiarity.
There was a lot of familiarity. And his plan was, I remember Coach Mullen had called me, and at that time, me being the type of player I was, if a coach calling you, that means
You done did something.
you ain't go to study hall, you didn't go to class, it was something. But this conversation was him telling me that he was going
Mississippi State.
to Mississippi State. It ended up being Mississippi State. He didn't tell me the team. And I was saying to myself, well, he want me to consider transferring to Mississippi State.
Right.
But Coach not Malzahn, Coach Meyer
Urban
had to sign off on that. And I knew he wasn't going to sign off for that. So I had to go to junior college. Now, when you say the things like going through the whole NCAA pay-for-play scandal, this is where I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to share this. If you really go back and you know the reports to what it said two sources said that Cam Newton and his father took money to go to Auburn. Those two sources was Dan Mullen and his wife, Megan Mullen. How do we get to that? I'll tell you. The day I was going to commit to Auburn out of junior college, it was neck and neck.
Mississippi State
and Auburn. When I went to Auburn, as my mental was solely focused on success. I was really trying to play catch up to the Joe Hadens, the Marquise Pounceys, the Aaron Hernandez, who were already in the league. And I said to myself, we came in together in Florida, they already in the league. I'm trying to find the fastest way that I can get to the league. When I went to Auburn, they mentioned that they would have 22 seniors coming back. Mississippi State probably only had 3 to 4. These are all different things as a 20-year-old college player and a 16, 17-year-old kid, you don't think that that's a big thing, but it really is. My whole determining factor was I wanted to go to a school that could get me to a BCS game. Okay. That was either the Tostitos Bowl, Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, whatever. Mm-hmm. If I went there in my tenure at that school, I was going top 10. Okay. Because I knew in order for us to get there, I would have to play my best form of football. Right. When I was about to commit to Auburn, one of the things that my father told me that I had to do as a man, he said, you got to call Coach Mullen. And you have to tell him the decision that you're going to make. Be a man. I said, damn, Pop, like, why though? You know what I'm saying?
He gonna find out sooner or later.
He gonna figure out what tickle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He can read.
Shit. But that's how my father raised me.
Okay.
He said, son, you're gonna have to be a man.
Right.
And that's where I always challenge society now. We need more men empowering men, not boys raising boys.
Correct.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yes,
but certain circumstances play out like that. But to that point, I put a lot of focus on my father. I said, Pop, you a man of God. If it's on your heart to wherever we're going to decide to go, that's where we're going to go. Man, at that time, we were exploring so many different things. And he came back, wrote it down on a sheet of paper. I looked at it. It had Auburn on it. I said, I ain't going to even question it. That's where we going.
Okay.
That day that I was going to make it public, I had to call Coach Mullen. I remember having a conversation. It was extremely awkward because when I called him, he answered, how's my quarterback doing? And I said, Coach, I just wanted to be a man and call you and tell you and Miss Megan that I'm going to Auburn. And I didn't want you to hear it through the grapevines. I didn't want you to hear it on ESPN. I wanted to be a man and call you. And he asked me this question, but how, Cam? Like, you know I was going to do right by you. Blah. We need you. And I gave him this quote. It was just too good to be true. Now, too good to be true for me was you got 22 seniors. Right. They battle tested. I ain't going into a locker room with freshmen. They ready to win right now. They just need me to propel them to elite status. Mississippi State needed me and some, and I don't think Mississippi State garners the measure of recruits. Like, come on, it's Mississippi State here. And still Mississippi State at that particular point in time. And I heard Miss Megan in the background. I was like, did he commit? Did he commit? He was like, no. And then that's when I talked to her. I was like, man, I just apologize, but this is a business decision that I'm saddened that it didn't work out. Had that conversation when I was 20. And I thought I was doing the right thing. So fast forward to the success going on at Auburn. First game we played Arkansas State. Think the next game, or the first primetime game we had was versus Mississippi State. It was on a Thursday night. We ended up winning that football game. And I'm big on energy. I'm big on just posture and certain things. At the end of the game, I looked at him and I wanted to shake his hand and say, Coach, man, appreciate you, man, thank you. And it was a little iffy though. You know what the hood teach you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like my spidey senses was a little up.
They were tingling. He on some bull.
You dig what I'm saying? I ain't really know what it was. His wife was there. We spoke. Condolences, man. Good luck for the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? Blase blah. The report came 2 weeks after that. And if you remember, it was two sources. It was Dan Mullen and his wife that created all this ruckus. Cam and his daddy took money.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to now when it's becoming a big story. I remember after the game, we had another primetime game on Saturday night. We played South Carolina. That was when the world knew who Cam Newton was. Another phone call by Coach Chiswick. And anybody who played at Auburn knew if somebody's calling you from a no-call ID, it's Coach Chiswick. That ain't a good call that you want to have. But I was in good standings, you know what I'm saying? We undefeated at that particular point in time. He said, Cam, I need to talk to you and your parents. Are your parents still in town? I said, yes, sir. I said, I need y'all to come to my office and we need to have a conversation. Cool. Boom, I'm thinking, you about to just stay the typical. Man, you're doing an amazing job, blah, blah, blah.
Y'all raised an unbelievable young man.
Oh, my goodness. It's working out fine. Like, I remember, look, it was me, my mom, and my dad, and Coach Chiswick sitting across from us. And, Coach Chiswick, hey, I just want to let y'all know it's about to be a report that comes out that a scandal and the NCAA is about to do an investigation on you guys' family. So we looking around like, on who? For what? Say, there's a report that you guys took money to come here. So I'm like, okay, cool. How much we talking? Like, boom. He said 180,000. Looked at my mama looked at me. We bust out laughing. Are you serious? Like, for real. We laughing. Coach Chiswick ain't laughing. I was like, oh, you for real? So I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at my mama. Mama, you got 180? Pop, you got 100? Like, where the hell is money at?
Right.
Because where I'm from, you can't hide that type of money.
Nah,
I ain't never seen $1,000, let alone 180 to 200,000.
Right.
That'd be hard to hide, especially, man, in our house. But we shit. I done found so much shit from PlayStations to Sega Genesis to all that they tried to hide from us. I'm like, man, how? Who?
Right.
Who got it? It was a suspicion to us. Like, who got this money that y'all proclaiming us to have got? And he was just reporting news. He's like, listen, I don't know who did it or who got it, but the NCAA is about to open an investigation and uncover as much as they possibly can.
Okay.
And during that stint, from that week on throughout even the national championship, that burden was always on, and I no longer was an amateur athlete. I had to operate as if I was a CEO. I had to operate and be stoic and be strong. And when somebody would ask, Cam, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. Knowing good and well, I was suffering in silence. Nobody could go through what I went through. Not my family, not my teammates, not my coaches. Not only am I being investigated throughout the day, I'm trying to play the best form of football that I possibly can during game time. And I'm going through so much, I can't speak to them. I'm talking to my dad, I'm talking to my brothers, I'm talking to, my family, but they don't get it. They there for support, but it's not like, we understand what you're saying. That's the only thing that they can say. And I'm saying to myself, bro, it's hard. We playing, after that, you got LSU, you got Arkansas, you got Georgia, you got all these games, and I'm like, yo, on top of that, this is the greatest season that the Auburn University has ever had. You got Alabama. Mm-hmm. How are you doing this? I was having an outer body experience in my body. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm surprising myself with the measure of focus that I had to go through. And still, that's what brought my family closer. Because even though I knew, still to this day, nobody took money from it. That was just a grenade thrown into the crowd to just have a bitter person. Mm-hmm. He didn't come to my school, so he had to have taken some money to go to that school because we had already had a relationship. But I was thinking to myself, hell, you didn't play me while you was at Florida. These are all things that I'm saying, like, I seen your true self.
Right.
I didn't want to get burnt twice. So on top of that, these things are happening, and through it all, by the grace of God, I was able to still perform at a high level. And my father jumped on that grenade. Knowing good and well he ain't take no money. Knowing good and well, he said, look, how can we allow my son to play? Well, we're gonna need somebody to take the to take this rap. My father said, without blinking, I take it. Paint me however you want to paint me.
Right.
I'll do it for my son. He gonna be eligible to play? Cool, I'll take it. Well, Cecil, you can't come to no more games. And still to this day, it was told during the Heisman ceremony, they said, I think it's best for you not to show up for that. I took that personal. And
the person that meant the most, that had the greatest impact on Cam Newton, the player, the man that he became at his highest moment to date, the man that meant so much to you couldn't be there to share it with you.
Could not share the moment. I remember winning the Heisman ceremony, stuttering. I was nervous, but I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be with my dad. I wanted to be with my family. Because this was my opportunity to show my dad, like,
to thank him. To
thank him, but also my dad challenged me every day. Boy, that's not right, boy. You gotta be a man. From I'm 7, 8, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, still in college. So you gotta be a man. That ain't no man. Take responsibility, take accountability. This was me showing him, Pop, I'm being a man, Pop. Look at me, look at what you created, man. Man, this us. This ain't just me. This ain't Cam Newton. This for our whole lineage. This is for the whole Newton name. This is what you created. Let me share that with you. Everybody was excited, but they stripped that from me.
Right.
But Archie Manning, that ain't no question. But if it's Lamar Ball, that's a problem. Deion Sanders, oh, he playing all that. These are great forms of King Richard. Men who meant so much and that was trying to put their family in the best situation. Tiger Woods' father, these people. My father has did nothing wrong and was painted as a villain. Still to this day, he still ain't been back to Auburn. Truth be told.
Do you get an opportunity to get back?
To Auburn? Yeah, but I ain't never been back to the Heisman.
Right.
For what? They didn't care about my family at that point in time. Because if they knew, we was telling everybody like 180,000, 200,000, you can't hide that. Not in my community, not in my culture. You would have seen it in a car. You would have seen it in a house.
Yeah.
You would have seen it in a something.
Yeah.
A business, the church, something. They couldn't find nothing. And this was an investigation that took place for more than about 3 to 5 years. Nothing. But when I'm suffering and all everybody really cared is, are you all right? Can you play? I was ineligible for a day. And boy, what we gonna do? I got eligible again. And now it put everybody at ease. Not knowing that, like, bro, I'm fucked up.
Y'all at ease, I'm not at ease.
Yeah, but I used those, 12 minutes? I used that 40 minutes or 42 minutes on Saturday to inflict what was being inflicted to me. Complete disregard to how I felt. And whoever I was playing, they was gonna feel me. So you're seeing a lot of examples of me using my circumstance, not letting my circumstance use me.
Right.
Jimmy Clausen, Tim Tebow, Urban Meyer, the NCAA.
Dan Mullen.
Man, somebody got to pay for this.
Right.
And this is a peaceful protest, so to speak. I ain't going off the rail and saying like, man, let me tell y'all, bro, y'all doing too much, NCAA. You call them a house, people with reports of ESPN, everybody, CNN, like this was big news. Right. You don't care about my family. People were staking out on my house, asking like, did you do it? Going into stadiums where they disrespecting me by playing Son of a Preacher Man. Like these are facts.
Right.
Oh, scam Newton. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a whole thing that people ain't thinking about what I went through.
Right.
And I'm telling you, like, bro, that's what I displayed there is no different than what an average black man or black family goes through on a regularity. It may not be through sports, it may be through circumstance. Right. Mom working 2 and 3 jobs to provide, single parent, or the father is not around, or he's trying to provide as best as he can. These are all trauma that I was lucky to use that trauma to put on my shoulder to say, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. This is my way out. I ain't about to be no doctor. I ain't about to be no lawyer. I'm about to be a football player. And I don't care what my circumstance is, I gotta perform and put that, compartmentalize that, put that away for these 42 minutes while I show the world I'm the best football player.
The game, the Iron Bowl. You guys go down 24-0. That team is loaded.
That may be the best Alabama team ever.
You guys are in Tuscaloosa. You fall behind 24-0.
Yep.
That was, you say Carolina but that was the game. That was your, say a Heisman moment. You had a Heisman game. The entirety of the game, from the point that you were down 24-0, could really be your highlights, and you don't need any others.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? What's the team's psyche at that point in time? You're in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
That's your chiefest rival. That might be the greatest rivalry in college sports. I understand Duke, North Carolina, Ohio State, Michigan, but they're not in state.
Yeah.
And it's divided. You either love Alabama and hate Auburn. You either love Auburn or you hate Alabama. There is no in between.
It ain't no cousins. No, it's bad blood.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And I think Coach Chizik did a great job leading up into that week, because that always will be the game around Thanksgiving. And school's out.
Right.
That's just the first introduction to what professional sports will be. All we had to do was prepare for that game. Training table, workout, watch film, whatever. And he would give us speakers to talk about what that game was like. Now, me being at the University of Florida, I was a part of some rivalries. Georgia, Florida, Florida State, Florida, Miami. I witnessed all of them. They were rivalries, but the Iron Bowl is a little different. It's a different energy. I remember going to the game and they had canceled our Tiger Walk. Right. That's when you get off the bus and then you have your fans. And I asked them, I said, why we don't got Tiger Walk? Simple question, or simple answer was, it's just not safe. Damn, we in college, in this amateur sports, right? Man, we was approaching, the stadium, the bus rocking. Like, damn, these motherfuckers, a bus rocking. And I remember looking outside, it was a couple who had to be 70 plus. They flicking us off. Damn, it's
Grandma and Grandpa, they all about it.
Mima and them was flicking us off. And I said, it's that type of game. When I entered the stadium on the field, they throwing, beer bottles and beer on, it's that type of game. All right, I see what we got going. This disrespect is overload. We go down 24. I'm saying, okay, cool. We got to score before halftime, man. I'm saying to myself, bro, Cam, if you're going to do anything great, just going to cement your legacy right here. And dare I just make it all about me, because we had unbelievable effort from Nick Fairley, the defense, Terrell Zachary, Darvin Adams, Michael Dyer, Lee Zemba. Like, these guys were a part of that puzzle to get us to it. Now, I got a lot of the credit, but these were the unsung heroes too. And I just remember making it so personal, like, this ain't where we stop at. We got to keep going.
Right.
And as you know, being an athlete, that's what gives you that stamp of approval that we want to hear what your take was.
Right.
What was it like in the locker room? Did you have to grab somebody by their shoulder pads and say, motherfucker, let's fucking go? Like, you bullshitting. We bullshitting. I'm bullshitting too. But shit, we got 30 more minutes to impact the rest of our lives. What we gonna do? I'm about to barbecue, motherfuckers. You gonna get a plate? Let's rock and roll. Them type of stories you can't get by just reporting the news, because it take a different measure of experience. And even though Travis Kelce may be able to be talked to in this type of way. You can't talk to Shannon Sharpe like that. Sometimes you don't even got to talk to him. You just got to look.
Mm-hmm.
You straight, bro? Shit, let's go. Let's get it. Those type of connections or Wi-Fi is something that only having the experience in the game can share that. And I did not want that opportunity to be missed because I was fighting so much more off the field that on the field was just a playground. That was my place of refuge. You can't talk to me, reporter, while I'm playing. I'm at peace, blah, 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 blah. And every time I ran with a vengeance. I wanted to hurt somebody because I was hurt. And I used it as a way to give me my edge.
Right. When you look at that roster, you mentioned Percy Harvin, Brandon Spikes, Joe Haden, Dunlap, Janoris Jenkins, Mike and Maurice Pouncey. Percy said he smoked weed before every game.
Yeah.
Did you guys party that hard, Cam? Damn.
Shit, we was untouchable in Gainesville, I ain't gonna lie. I was so disappointed in the documentary because they left out so much.
What did they leave out?
Shit, Percy, go talk to Percy. Shit, go talk to Charlie Strong. Shit, go talk to Joe Haden. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Ask them the real. And they would have did that shit for free. Fuck all the Netflix deals and all that shit. Like, we need to tell, you want to tell the real story? Shit, that was a very toxic locker room where we still had success. But damn, it was a combination of a lot of talent that was boiling over.
Right.
And there was times where it was just unmanageable.
Right.
And then there was also times where it was a thing of beauty, where it was a competition every day, every practice. Like, we competed. And even though Tim Tebow was a person who I wanted to be better than, Tim Tebow made everybody better because he competed.
Right.
That energy that he had, that screaming, that roaring, and that that's something that I could connect with.
Right.
And he connected with everybody else, even the stadium.
There was a situation. You have a 707. You mentioned the 707 that you have here. Deshaun Watson has come through your camp. Justin Fields has come through your camp. And I remember telling your dad the first time, this was a couple of years ago, that it was documented, and the kids I felt were being disrespectful. Not all kids, but some was being very disrespectful. Yeah. And I remember calling your dad. I said, see, so if I was Cam, I'd cancel that. I said, because the one thing is that I'm taking time out of my busy schedule and I'm trying to give back.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will not allow is kids to be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And he just said, I remember him saying, matter of fact, that ain't how Cam is. Cam gonna keep it going and because he believes in this and he want to give back to the community. And then earlier this year, you had a situation where you have a 707, and I thought it was kids, but it was later reported that there were coaches, there were adults that you ended up getting into it with. Yeah. And I don't understand how you stayed so, I mean, your hat didn't fly off, the dreads weren't going nowhere, you stayed immaculately dressed. What the hell? Yeah. I like, that can't be real. I just got to be CG. Because ain't no way a man getting a tussle. You got one in the headlock. You strong arming one, you throw him in the bushes, and the other one come up like, well, damn, Cal.
Yeah. Well.
So what transpired? What led up to that confrontation?
They were coaches that was at one point a part of C1N.
Okay.
And that familiarity was something that, we knew each other.
Okay.
Words were said, and I always say, I got my PhD in shit talking.
Okay.
I could talk shit with the best of them. It don't matter if it's a young boy. It don't matter if it's a preacher. It don't matter if it's an opposing opponent. It don't matter who it is. I can keep it governed in how you want to talk.
Okay.
And the truth of the matter was, a lot of people, when they see you as equal, they will talk to you as if you were equal. Mm-hmm. And I show myself so much. I exert my time and energy so much to people that they get so comfortable not remembering who I am. Mm-hmm. And in large part, that's what I want. And also, but don't forget, bro, there's not a lot of people that have done what I've done.
Right.
And I don't use that as a banner like, I'm Cam Newton. It was just like, yo, y'all talking, I'm talking, and then boom, it's going to be what it's going to be. So they see the sauce, they see the smile, they see all these different things, and you'll fuck around and find out.
They take that for weakness, though.
They take it for weakness. And even for the kids, they see you always running around, hey, yo, see one in on three, see one in, bless the baby, all that. They get distracted by that's still Cam Newton, the Rookie of the Year, the Heisman Trophy winner, the MVP. And they're not used to seeing somebody of my magnitude exert themselves in that space, because it's really like for an expression or an analogy, it's like the Rucker Paul. It's raw, uncut. 707 gives you that platform to talk shit.
Do you think you need to temper it, because you say you put yourself on that level? And when people see you as the level, they see you as an equal, they will talk to you as such. I'm from the South, your dad's from the South. I know he's told you, Cam, our dynamic is never going to change. I'm dad, your son.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to be on my level.
Right.
And he doesn't put you on his level.
Nor do I put him on my level.
Exactly. So do you think moving forward, you might need to temper that, where you put people on your level and then you stay in your place and you allow them to stay in their space?
In this situation, no. Okay. Because I'll tell you this, I'm not quiet about saying where I'm from.
Okay.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
And I don't want to just appease to Buckhead and not appease to Bankhead. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't know where those different areas in Atlanta is, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
And when I was growing up, Michael Vick was that person where if he would have said Cam or anybody, I'm throwing a camp and I want somebody to be a part of my team, man, I would have did anything to be a part of it. Because he was my hero, still am my hero. That's the risk. Every single time I see the Michael Vicks, the Pac-Mans, they're like, bro, you that motherfucker that I wanted to be, Vince Young, that guy. These are the guys that I wanted to be like. So I will always keep that respect there. So now, me being in the position that I am now, the Justin Fields, the Deshaun Watsons, the Bo Nix, the Sam Howells, these quarterbacks that have come, and that's just the name, the ones that you may know, not to mention the ones that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And also other players, Travis Hunter, George Pickens, Cam Sutton, even though what he's going through right now, these players came through, and I was trying to tell them then, bro, use the game of football, because it can get you everything you want. You got to commit. You got to be disciplined.
Right.
Don't get distracted. So it's hard for me to remove myself from a platform where I impact way more than people see than that viral moment going where somebody's swinging on this person and swinging on that person. And I'm saying to myself, I was so grateful, because it could have gotten ugly on both sides. If they would have pulled out a knife, if they would have pulled out a gun, that's for them. If my side would have been there, I was by myself. I was triggered. And that was the thing now where even when I have these conversations with my girl, she said, Cam, like, you got kids. You got 8 kids. What I'm going to do if you go on?
Right.
You get knocked in a coma. What your family going to do? So these are things that I think about myself, and I'm saying to myself, I mean too much to too many people for me to get detracted from what the vision and the focus is. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people live vicariously through me. And whether they give me the credit I deserve or not, that still can't distract me from my mission. And that's always to impact and empower the next generation.
Let's talk about your upbringing. Your dad, he's a couple of years older than me, went to Savannah State. Your mom is from Savannah. Obviously, Savannah State is in Savannah. How was Cam's upbringing? Your dad is a minister, so I'm assuming that the upbringing was fairly strict.
Oh, extremely strict. And with me smoking this cigar right now, it's still... Hey, boy, turn it down. Tone it down. You're cussing too much. I ain't raised you like that, boy. You know, those are things that my dad...
That's Cecil Barrett, not loud.
That's him. That Barrett, man. But people have to understand, even when I'm expressing myself to this day, they got to understand where I come from.
Right.
My father didn't have the millions that I have,
right,
but he always was an alpha.
Yeah.
His presence was gonna be felt, whether he was wearing some raggedy clothes or wearing a Liberace suit. Didn't matter. My father had that aura about him. This is the man that I wanted to impress. So he raised me to be this way. Growing up in the church, it was extremely strict. I can't remember a time where, I didn't have a curfew. That don't mean I didn't sneak out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I would always say it like this. I knew and know what's right and what's wrong. I didn't always do right, though. You see what I'm saying? I grew up in a 3-parent household. My mom, my father, as well as my grandmother. And yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, was, you missing something? Yes, sir.
I ain't know what. Huh? What?
Yeah.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, nah, it's yes. It's yes, sir. It's no and no, ma'am. Look me in my eye when I'm talking to you as a measure of respect, but also understanding that you are digesting and processing what I'm telling you.
Make sure you understand, you're listening and understanding what I'm saying.
See, those things, it's like I always tell the parents that come through our program, just like the players. What this society needs is for parents to be parents. We don't need no more
friends,
home girls, and he all right, he gonna be good. No, give that dude, give Lil Tay and John a curfew.
Right.
They failing math, science, and all that. And I don't give a damn how he can catch the ball. Yeah. He ain't gonna go to college.
They might be Gen X, but they can't say the ABC.
Come on now. They can recite a rap song, but they can't recite all these different things. Like, I'm telling you. So that comes from the way that they're being raised. And when we start putting the onus back on the parents, that's when society would change.
Cam, kids, you mentioned you got 8 kids.
Yes,
8? You done?
I want more.
What?
6 Flags, baby.
Man, come on, Cam.
Hey, man. Look, but this is what they say.
What they say? Who say that? I don't know who they is, because I'm going to find them and put something on them.
But people saying, you having all these kids. I take care of all my kids.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I always wanted a big family. I come from that. You know what I'm saying? My father had 3 boys, no girls. And my cousin here, he serves as my assistant now. That's my brother. Like, we head to toe, make the pallet. Who going down there to get the pallet? Nah, it smell like mothballs. Boy, you stink. Who smelling like that? Who musty? Like, those conversations happened during the summer. We worked together.
Right.
My father had a construction company, a landscaping business. Like, that's how we got swole. We didn't start lifting weight. We didn't have no free weights running around. How we had this sod, these pallets.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to go get this tree, this bush, and you're going to take it 50 yards, and you better not mess up my whole plant structure. Right. That's how I got strong. So when I grew up, that's all I knew was family.
Right.
So I want that. And I owe a due diligence to each woman who given me that. Yeah. And I respect them the same. Do I have jurisdiction of who they talk to? No. But I owe a service to loving them unconditionally, no matter what they do. And we have to co-parent together.
How do you, because look, Cam, these women wanted to be with you. Let's be all the way 1,000.
Come on with it.
These women wanted to be with you. You're not with this one. You have 1 or 2 kids with this one, have 1 kid over here. Now you're with the one you had the last kid with.
Yeah.
The previous, like, well, hold on. What's special? Why she get to be with you now? You done left me with 5 over here or 2 over here. Why she special?
Well,
I'm gonna mess it up for you.
No, you can't do that. You can't. It's a respect.
Right.
And we can't allow our personal vendettas to get in between raising these children. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And did I want it to be this way? When I was 7, 12 years old, I wanted to have a family. I wanted to be married with a house and a picket fence and all that. That just wasn't what my life panned out to be. I proudly say I have 8 children, 6 biologically through me.
Right.
And I don't believe in stepchildren. What my biological kids get, everybody get. I don't have no favorites. I'm raising kings and queens, and I have uncomfortable conversations with my children. Is you fucking? Hey, is you smoking weed? Is you drinking? No, I don't patty cake with that. I'm very hands-on. I do go to football practice. I do go to basketball practice, track practice, tennis practice, because I want them to see what a positive male figure is in their life. I'm not just out here just slaying and leaving.
Right.
No.
But it's difficult, Cam, when you've been in a situation for a long period of time. If I'm not mistaken, I think the first situation, you've been in that situation for probably about a decade. And to leave,
yes.
And I'm sure it was a very uncomfortable conversation that you had to have.
Yeah, but things happen though.
Okay.
And as you know, when we all in the public eye try to keep personal.
Yes.
Personal. But I want to be an example for people that I never proclaim to be perfect. Learn from me.
Right.
We can talk about everything. And I think when you look at my career, JUCO, high school, professional, I've been that guy for a long period of time. I had a lot of temptations. I had a lot of mess ups along that way too. So that's why I'm relatable to these kids. My kids or anybody else's. Right. I know what you're going through, bro. But that don't mean you can't fail this class, because if you fail the class, you're not going to pass clearinghouse. Talk to me. I done did a lot. Just because of who you see today don't mean I ain't been through a lot. Right. And they always try to put that on how old you are. I'm like, nah, bro, I done been through a lot of stuff, bro. Some things that I'm proud to say and some things that I'm not proud to say.
The meme, do you remember, have you seen the meme of you and I think it was Josh Norman getting into it? Yeah. They got a meme of you, bro. They meme everything. Now, you know you about to get even more memes now that you're on this side of the camera, right?
Bring it on. Bring on the problems. Bring on the problems. Bring on them. Yeah, I want that. But it was crazy. I was having this conversation, and the way media is now, by the time my son gets to high school, or my daughter gets to high school, they won't even remember Cam Newton as the football player. Because it's so direct to consumer. Yeah. YouTube. I was with
You're going to be so far removed.
So far removed.
And if you get really good at this, Cam, people will forget that you actually played the game. Because I get a lot of times people like, well, how do you know so much about sports? I was like, I study a lot. Okay, I study a lot. They're like, you know football, you know events, you know dates, you know players, you know all this stuff. Sure. I was like, yes, ma'am, I do a lot of studying. I have to prepare.
It's in you though. Yeah. But that thing for me is like journalism, not just media. Journalism has changed over the years and how people digest that. Right. And we're in the golden era of that. Right. We don't have to just wait on ESPN to report sports. Right. We can go to Direct, Skip Bayless and Nightcap and, all these different podcasts to get the news. Right. You don't need a middleman. No. Because there's something Cam wants to say. Cam has platforms. He can just say it. Right. And with no misinterpretation. No. You ain't got to wait for me to do a magazine special or a newspaper. Like, nah, that's gonna get misconstrued. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you how I really feel. When you were in Carolina, your neighbor was Michael Jordan. Yes, sir. Mike loves to gamble. Boo Ray and I don't play Boo Ray. You don't play Boo Ray? No, that shit right there, that's a relationship killer. It got every type of person, your constituent on Nightcap. It got motherfuckers bringing pistols to the arena. All off Boo Ray. Yeah. I do some gambling, and I think I learned this quote around him, Michael Jordan that is. He was having just a little banter. Somebody asked him, he said, hey, how much you want to bet on this? Simply said by Mike, whatever makes you nervous. That's him. That's a flex right there. Yeah. But it is what it is. But you ask yourself, why is gambling so prominent with athletes because that rush,
that thrill that you get.
It's either gambling or you playing a sport. It coincides because the nervousness, the anxiousness that you kind of get the thrill. It's like, whoo, is he gonna make the shot?
What's coming next?
What's coming next?
What card? Is he gonna get the card? Am I gonna get the card? There's a lot riding on this.
It's a lot of chance, but a lot of probability. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So yeah, I learned a lot from MJ. Very positive in who I am today. Always was accessible to knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And just what he represents for the culture and what he represents for us today is something that I've always marveled.
If Cam Newton never plays another down in the NFL, are you satisfied with your career?
Yes, sir. Because I gave everything to this game of football. And in the famous words of Frank Sinatra,
You did it your way.
I did it my way. From the fashion to the way I presented myself to everything else. I'm satisfied.
When you officially decide to call it a career, in 5 years, does Cam Newton get that call? Does he get that knock on the door and say, welcome to football heaven, which is Canton, Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Honestly, though, I wouldn't care. And not to disrespect the Hall of Fame and the people who are in it. My impact was felt. And that's all I wanted. From a kid from College Park, Georgia, by way of Atlanta, to have the impact that I had, where globally I go anywhere and people say, man, he look like, man, what's the football? Dad, we played in a masked sport. To be recognized without your helmet on, that tells you something that you did something right. And let this be said too. I never had an incident with domestic violence. I never had a run-in with the law. I never had anything conduct detrimental where people would have assumed that, oh man, he's a head case.
Right.
That's your personal opinion. Go back and talk to Ron Rivera. Go back and talk to Matt Rule. Go back and talk to Bill Belichick. Talk to Greg Olsen. Talk to Thomas Davis. Talk to these people who shared the locker room with me. Rest in peace. Talk to Jerry Richardson. These people will tell you who Cam Newton really is. A lot of people who don't like Cam Newton, it's only subjective to what you may think. And I'm fine with being able to say, I'm not for you. And I think with me being so comfortable in my skin, that's what rubs people the wrong way. So for me, I can get the validation from people around when they appreciate what I've done, and that's my nod to them saying, well done. And that's what I can go to sleep at every single night. Whether my daughters or my sons remember me playing football or not, I have the ability to raise them to be honorable kings and queens, the same way that my father and my mother did for me and my grandmother.
Last thing, the car accident when you was in Carolina. Do you remember that? Do you remember that morning?
Yeah, I do. It was on an off day. It was we had Victory Monday, and the truck that I was driving was elevated, like hot, too high. But young and like I wanted to stand. That was me being around the Texas, being around the Alabama, like them country boys had them elevated trucks, and I wanted to get one. And the intersection that it was at, I remember the car coming out, then it stopped, then I stopped or slowed down. Then I sped up and he sped up too. I remember I thought I passed him and I was trying to blow the horn like, wah! And as I'm blowing the horn, he clipped my back left wheel and it flipped over. And as I'm flipping, I'm saying to myself, oh my God, not like this. Not like this. And I was on the phone with my mom. not like this. No, not like this, not like this. And when I got out, I didn't realize how close off the edge of the bridge it was.
Right.
So when they say I had a praying grandmother, a praying mother, man, that could have been it. You don't know the time, the hour, or the day. So don't let smoking a cigar derail you from understanding that I'm a man of God, God-fearing. I know where my favor come from. I'm humbled by the fact that God has given me the opportunity to say that I owe my life to him. Mm-hmm. I don't fear nothing outside of God. And that day was a perfect example of, I was on top of the world. My father would always say, son, be careful. One day you could be on top of the world, and the next day the world can be on top of you. Do right by people. Mm. And no matter what you say about Cam Newton, you can never find a person that I did wrong. And that's what resonates to me the most. Because there's times in my life, similar to that car accident, where I ain't supposed to be here. They thought after Florida, they'll never hear from me again. It was so many transfers that left.
Right.
And you never
heard from them again.
Never heard from them. But when I came back, then my story and everything that I went through, why me? I would always ask myself, man, how am I always getting caught? Man, son, you ain't regular. These are conversations. This is a perfect father-son story. Mm-hmm. Man, I was afraid of my dad. The only thing that brought us closer was me in JUCO. While I was in Florida, man, I didn't call my dad, man. I'm gonna cut your phone off. You better answer. That was the first time I was out. I was a bird. I mean, I was gone.
Yeah.
Man, you could bring girls in the dorms and ain't nobody got curfew. Oh, man. But that wasn't the calling that I had.
Right.
That's why I'm able to resonate with my kids and say, son, it's all right. Tell me, like, what's going on? It may be tough loving, but all medicine ain't sweet either.
Right.
So as I'm living these situations and I'm saying to myself, and let me be the example of hope. So I can't stop going out to 707. Right. I can't stop speaking my mind, because every time I want to, there's a person that I'm giving hope to that I may not ever meet, but they are able to say, man, Cam, I resonate with Cam. He my kind. And that's not a black thing. That's not a white thing. That's an all mankind thing. I like him.
Are you surprised Coach Belichick doesn't have a job?
No, it's because he don't want a job. Like, I mean, bruh.
What makes him special? You had an opportunity to spend 1 year with him, and it was only a year, but what makes Coach Belichick special?
I remember when Robert Kraft called me, and it was something that was just, it penetrated my core. It was like, yo, like, damn. He was like, Cam, in this organization, you ain't gonna find an organization that's pulling in the same direction like the New England Patriots. Everything is aligned to winning. When I went to spend my time in New England, I was blown away by the amount of details that they focused on. He taught the game of football, not just to the offense, not just to the defense, special teams included. He taught the game of football to everybody. Oftentimes, that pencil ain't just a fashion statement. He got a pencil, iPad, notepad, taking notes. While he working out, taking notes, watching film, certain things, and he teaches the game. Coaches oftentimes forget that being a great coach is also being a great teacher. You have to understand, talking to Cam, you got to change the tone or dialect when you're talking to a Shannon Sharpe, when you're talking to an Ocho Cinco, a Odell Beckham, a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady. The great ones know how to weave in and weave out and get their message across. That's what Bill Belichick has done and proven. He's so intentional that it ain't like, He riding off in the sunset because that's what he want to do. If Bill Belichick wanted a job, he got that name, Manning, Sanders, Belichick. That man, if he wanted to be hired somewhere, he would have been there. Me knowing what I know about him, he probably don't want it. What does he have to prove? And when you're at peace like that, you can gracefully bow out.
I think he wants that Shula record. All-time winningest coach in NFL history. He's so close.
But some records, out of respect, should never be broken. Think about Barry Sanders. When he was so close to Walter Payton, he said, no, Emmitt Smith the same way.
Well, I think Barry was like what you said, Kuechly. If he thought Detroit could give him an opportunity to win, they had started trading pieces, getting rid of pieces around him that he could, the Glovers and the Low Browns and all them guys that started to leave, he like, man, y'all ain't got no room for me.
Yeah, but sometimes people, you got to ask yourself too, what's your carrot? There is a comical analogy where the mule is chasing the carrot. In high school, your carrot is, I want to go D1. I want to go to college.
Correct.
That's your carrot. You bite that, boom. When you get to college, that carrot is NFL. I got to go to the league. When you bite that, it's now, I want to go and be a household name, a Pro Bowler. I want to be an All-Pro. That's your carrot. When you got all these different things, a Super Bowl, what else is your carrot? And you dictate that, not somebody else. And I think, even for me, I don't have nothing to prove. I'm at peace, and that's if you're at peace with that.
No, you got another carrot. You on this camera side now.
Oh, for sure.
You want to be great at it, just like you were the football.
Oh man, listen.
It drives you. You're probably, here's the thing. This is what, and I tell people, I want to be better at this because this isn't my natural. Football was, God gave me the ability to be able to run and to jump and to catch a football. So I didn't really have to work that much. I mean, I trained and got good at it. But this is not something that I was naturally good at. But I'm working.
It's the challenge, right? And I think for me to be independently owned, nobody's telling me what I should produce, and for it to consistently catch the eye of people to make it go viral, that's my carrot. And it's doing it in an intent to impact. It's not doing it in an intent to shame. So when I do say game changer and a game manager, it was the topic of the NFL the whole year. Because think about this. Whether the 49ers won or the 49ers didn't win, Cam Newton's topic or take was still going to be, who's doing that? Shannon? Stephen A, Skip, they got so many platforms. Disney, Fox. Not me. I'm just taking my take, and it's just getting picked up because you can't ignore what I'm saying because it's the truth to a degree where it still becomes opinionated and subjective to the consumer.
Cam Newton, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you, bro.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my